Hey, what's going on, everybody? 101 Weekly, and we're doing the Arsenal versus Wolves player ratings live. And I want to welcome everybody who's come in the panel. We've already got David in there. We've already got 18 in there. And we've already got Kuke. Nice to see you guys on time. We know we got some people that just come in late in the chat. But I want to say hi to my panel. And we also have one of the actual original members of 101 on Arsenal. And actually, when I first planned to do this live show, he was one of the guys that was supposed to be doing the weekly chat with me. So let's introduce Jay first. Jay from 101 and Goon Squad. Jay, what's good, man? What's good, bro?
I'm good, brother. I finally made it on. But I'm over the little illness I had where I was coughing every 10 seconds for months. I won't say the C name that I think it was, but yeah, I'm glad to be here, Polo.
Excellent. Bertram, how's your week gone? New York is keeping it tight, man, under the numbers. That's really good to see.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to be celebrating anything until sometime next year because, yeah, we're keeping it tight, but we have kept it tight recently because we have social distance and we've also been wearing masks in the city. But, people are getting frustrated with being indoors. They want to go outdoors. They're socializing more. So I would expect that if we maintain that same situation, we're going to see an increase, not necessarily as we're seeing in Florida, Arizona, Texas, Arkansas, Georgia, all those states which are increasing exponentially, but we may see some increase. But it's been a good week because we won, surprisingly, and I'm pleased. And this is the first time, we get into ratings, but Tony talked about giving everyone a sort of similar grades. It's the first time I've watched the game and thought, I can't pick a stand-up performer or a poor performer. So Tony, your concept or your idea around, maybe winning does level the playing field and level things out, may be appropriate here.
Do you know, that's a really good point. I'm looking at my numbers here, and there's about 4 players that I've got an 8, 3 players that I've got a 7.5, 3 players who've got a 7, and the lowest player got a 6. So yeah, it's very, very even because it was a team effort that got us the 3 points away at Wolves. Tony, man, talk to me. What's going on, bro?
Hey, how you doing, man? I'm very, very excited. I'm very enthused by what I saw yesterday. I did say when we predicted some of the results for the start of the restart, so to speak, that if once we got past Man City, I could see us winning every game. And it's borne out. That we are capable, if we perform at our best, of beating every team left for us this season. Of course, Liverpool will be a difficult team to beat, but I did put the caveat in that by the time we play them, they would have already won the league and could possibly be on the beach ready for the summer break. So that could work in our favour.
Excellent. Ebony, how are you going? You're not at work, you're with us today, so that's really good to see you. How you been over the last week, man?
Fine. I mean, I have been working, but today's my day off. And I enjoyed yesterday's game. It's possibly one of the best performances of the season, if not the best. And I did actually say to you and to everybody in the 101 chat, have faith. I knew we were going to win. Have faith. I said to people, have faith. And I said to people, have faith in Martinez as well.
Yeah, and listen, I've been right there with you on Martinez, but I wasn't with you on the faith. I wasn't with Tony on the faith. I was kind of leaning with Bertram. I was just being real, man, because we ain't beating that team.
We have a good record against them.
Yeah, we went down there and got humiliated last year, and after that, funny enough, we played Leicester and got humiliated 3-0 last year as well. So it's I just saw the pattern repeating itself, and for me as well, I want to give this team time. So I'm not expecting a miracle early on. For me, this is like him grooming everybody to find out what works, what doesn't work. It's for him to find out where everybody's head's at. He's managing it so well, in terms of the players that are not even on the bench, like Guendouzi and Ozil, and the people that are on the field are willing to just sweat blood for him. And he's got it right where it needs to be. The philosophy, the formula, everything is just bang on. And if Arteta keeps on in that reign, I think we're going to see something special, but not now. I'm thinking more in terms of next season. He'll know exactly what he wants. It's important for the board now to back him to get the players he needs to get in there. And that's going to be a tough job, because if you don't finish in Europe, there's no money. And the whole thing is, I'm just really ready to be patient with this team and try not to expect too much too soon. So listen, outside of that, guys, it's really good to hear that Saka signed his contract, and it's really good to hear that Martinelli signed. We've got Mari and Suarez and Louise who have signed. So we've locked up what we've needed to go into this summer before all of that starts. And obviously, Thomas Partey's agent has been in London for 3 days now, and I'm hearing some real good things underneath the covers of what's going on. Atletico Madrid also, the 30th of June, that contract release clause was supposed to have ended. They've kindly extended that because the player does want to come here, but then the club is going to keep that figure fixed. So I think that's really good from all parties. Hopefully that will get done pretty soon. And remember, guys, transfer doesn't really start until August. So it's a matter of the release clause, which was the main problem. So I really like what I'm hearing from there. Is it a done deal? No, but they are talking and everybody's willing to get the deal done. So let's just be patient with that one. And let me just say hi to everybody in the chat room. What's good, David? David, good to see you back, bro. Vincey, what's good, bro? What's good, man? 18, nice to see you. Everyone's in good spirit. Kez, big up to you, Kez, man. Cool K. And James, good to see you, James. Carlito, big up to you. Daniel, nice one, bro. Guys, let's get into it, man. We got a long way to go. So let's start with Martinez. Martinez, guys in the chat room, give me your grades for Martinez, please. This is going to be a nice break, man. This is going to be a nice break. Actually, before we go into the player ratings, I just want the panel to tell me what their thoughts are about the win in general and where do they see things going from here. Bertram, let's start with you.
Look, I think I am surprised we won so easily. Not that we won, but how contained Wolves were. We give our midfield a lot of flack, and I still hear the flack subsequent to the game. But what people don't realize is how compact they were. I think, as Arteta said, they played really well in the first half. We were under pressure somewhat in the second half, but they kept it boxed in. If you can't score through the middle, it's very difficult then for you as a team to score. Their strength is on the wing. They play Traoré in the middle, which actually fits what we're doing because we're playing three at the back, with Xhaka and Ceballos really being contained. So that worked really well. So I think overall, strategically, it was a good setup. And I thought even more important, the substitutions were even better. I don't think people realize, but Nino moved Adama outside late first half, second half to play on the wing, and he was getting by at will. Tierney couldn't control him. Maitland-Niles came in and became much more physical with him. He was holding him. He had the speed to go with him. So even though I think Traoré had some success, he still had a lot of pressure from Maitland-Niles the way he played. So all these substitutions, Maitland-Niles, Willock, played really well and helped to keep that momentum going forward. I think overall, look, we played well. I've always said this. I heard you mention Apollo during the commentary about how many balls Xhaka gave away, but everybody was giving balls away. David Luiz was making bad passes, which is not the norm for him. That's why he's in the team. When anything else is his leadership and also his ability to ping a pass any parts of the field without having a turnover like a Mustafi does. So I thought overall the team played well. I thought we were very compact, very solid. They got two chances, one really early, one which I think Traoré should have put away, the second one. But Martinez responded well on both those chances. And I think Ebony has always been an advocate for him and thought he should replace Leno. I'm still not there, Ebony. I do think Leno is a great stop shopper and his work on crosses is improving. But I think overall it was a great, not a good result, a great result. Because what it actually done is given the fan base, the players, and management confidence, as you mentioned, Apollo, not just about this season. So I think we're playing for next season. And we realize for next season that there are certain positions which are imperative for us to strengthen, such as getting Partey in the center of that midfield, because he's almost like a box-to-box midfielder, even though he plays deep for Atletico. And also for us to bring the kids in, have the kids be part of what we're trying to build, because we don't have the funds. I thought what we should be doing as a team, as an organization, is leveraging the Dortmund model. We have people like Gomez leaving Man U. We should have forward who's like Sancho from Man City looking someplace to go because they can't get into those teams. If teams like Chelsea and Man U and Man City are not allowing their youngsters to come through, we should be creating those avenues for those youngsters, some of who were exceptional, and bring them to the fold. We don't have, no matter what we want to say, we don't have the funds. We don't have discretionary funds to spend to acquire players. We need to leverage the Dortmund model. They self-fund their organization by getting youngsters, selling them, and still competing. Obviously, they need to get closer to Bayern. But we need to leverage that concept, think about how that works, and leverage it to help us achieve our objectives.
Yeah, you mentioned a good point about Traore there, and I thought Tierney locked him up, and they weren't getting no penetration or luck from that side, so they moved him over to the other side, and he was taking on Klasnach at will. And I thought it wasn't until Niles came on that Niles started to give him a donut.
Oh, no, not at all. He was playing in the middle most of the first half. He started going the wing because he realized the middle was bottled up. And whenever he had the ball and beat one person, we were gang tackling him. So they put him on. He should have started on the wing in the first place. He shouldn't have been in the middle.
Yeah.
That's where he's unmarkable on the wing, almost unmarkable actually, because he goes by you on the right, and there's nothing you can do about it. Maitland-Niles was funneling him to the middle, which is interesting. He was funneling him to the middle. Instead, Tierney wasn't doing that. He was pushing him to the middle so he could get help on the middle. Normally, you don't want to do that. When you funnel someone to the middle, then they have more options of going wide or going inside. He was funneling to the middle to get help to lock him down.
Tony, what's your thoughts on the game overall yesterday? And I know you was one of the very few that said that we were going to win.
Yeah, so, I'm always optimistic. I love my team. But, more importantly, I've been spoiled by years and years of good flowing football and an attitude. Thanks, Anthony Roberts. But yeah, see, when you're spoiled and you know what your team can do, we've seen it historically from, even before the George Graham days. So I always have confidence in Arsenal. If we have our best players out and they do what they can do, we know that we can upset anybody's rhythm. And this looked like a difficult game on paper. I was a little bit hesitant, to be honest, before the game, but I did always think that if we could, be at the races, be on the front foot from the get-go, that we would give them trouble. And, we've got players in that team who can be difference makers. We all know Aubameyang can score goals, but, Saka has proved over and over again this season that he's a difference maker. So, yeah, I was quite confident. And again, I'll carry that confidence through to the end of the season, to the very last game. Hopefully that will be the FA Cup final.
Yeah, for real. A Spitfire J, man. Big shout out to Goon Squad. Big shout out to 101 in the house. What's your overall thoughts of the Wolves' victory yesterday? I was talking to you halfway through.
We was talking for half the match.
Guys, I'm supposed to be on 101 on my phone doing match day commentary, and Spitfire phones me up, and me and Jay, no lie, we're talking for 25 minutes, and then I look in the actual forum, and I said, Jay, shit, man, I'm not typing anything. I'm there just chatting to you. And Saka scored.
I wondered what happened.
Sorry.
Darcy Thompson was talking. What's his name? Thompson was talking. Like, where's it coming?
Honestly, surprising. You know me, I'm always honest. Surprising. I haven't really had faith in the team for the last 6-7 matches. But I thought it was a great result. Do not get me wrong. I thought it was a really, really good result. I was just surprised. We can turn it on like that, but then we've been turned over by silly teams during the season. So that's the kind of result I want to see ground out every week. And we have that ability to do it. So it was surprising, but I suppose not unexpected with the quality that we have, the way we should be playing. the Arsenal, like Tony said, that we know for years and years. That's supposed to be the norm for us. You know, what I find is that it's so shocking. We beat Wolves 2-0 and everybody's like, oh my God, we beat Wolves 2-0. What the hell happened? But that's what we should be doing. It hasn't happened. So I'm surprised. It was warranted. We need to start putting teams like that, regardless if they're above us or not currently. We shouldn't even be out of the top 4. But yeah, I was surprised at yesterday's win, but I loved it all the same.
And what was important about what you've just said is the fact that before the lockdown, Arteta was showing us 5 clean sheets in the last 8 games, starting to get results away from home. He started to see that kind of solidarity between his philosophies. And then when we came back from the lockdown, it kind of looked like it all fell apart. And it really was just kind of, the message was lost in translation. He got it back really quickly. And right now we're 4 wins in a row. I can't believe we're 4 wins in a row and 3 clean sheets. I mean, we're right back to where we kind of was improving before the lockdown. It's horrifying how good this team can be when everything all comes together. Ebony.
Yeah, I thought it was a great performance. I mean, I thought we defended reasonably well. I thought Saka took his goal really well. I thought Martinez was outstanding. Possibly my man of the match, but no bias there. But and like you said, you know, this is something that, you know, we have got it in our locker. You know, we can defend well when we want to. You know, we can shut down players when we want to. I just think that from here on in, that should be the impetus to give us the, you know, for us to win every single game, including Liverpool and Tottenham, because we've still got those. I believe we've still got Leicester as well. You know, 3 hard teams to beat, 3 teams that have beaten us in recent years.
But the thing about that, Leicester's never really got a result at the Emirates, though, have they? We've got that in our favour, Ebony.
Yeah, but then also we shouldn't really take it for granted that they've not beaten us at the Emirates. You know, this is a time now where we're on course for a Europa place, so we can't take our foot off the gas now. You know, we're heading in the right direction. We've won 4 games on the bounce, 3 clean sheets. Let's just keep on.
Okay, guys, let's get straight into it. Bertram, Martinez. Before you go ahead, let's see what the guys are saying. David's given Martinez a 7.3 out of 10. 18's given Martinez a 9. James has given Martinez an 8. Clean sheet, really did well. Clean sheet again. Keep him in goal. Yeah, I would keep him in goal. Me and Ebony have been talking about this guy for 2 years to be the starter ever since he had these stints in the Europa Cup. For me, he does not make mistakes, and that's it, period. He doesn't make mistakes. And Leno led every goalkeeper in mistakes leading to goals. He led the league in that. And I just don't want anybody in there who's going to cost us games. That's it for me. No discrimination at all. I want perfection, and Martinez seems to be giving me that. We've got an 8 here for Vincey, an 8 for Kez, 8.5 for Cool K. Guys, I'm loving these figures you guys are shooting up. Dan is saying a solid 8. Have we got any more scores here coming in? We've got Bones. Bones is giving him a 9. Look, man, this is proper solid. Martinez, straight shooter. Tony, you got the conch.
Did we miss out Bertram?
No, I'm gonna flip it. I'm gonna flip it and go with you first and go. I tried to flip it on. I tried to flip it. Yeah, I tried to flip it on the sheet, but it's not gonna make any sense.
Martinez, outstanding performance yesterday. Did what he needed to do. Distribution was decent, so I'm gonna give him a 9.
Excellent. Bertram, Martinez.
So before I jump to Martinez, I want to make one point before we go to Martinez, which is about the Leicester playing at the Emirates. It's not the Emirates. We're playing at home, but it's not the Emirates. The statistics shows, especially in the German league, that there's no home feel anymore, given there's no crowd there.
Agreed.
In fact, in the German league, the away team is winning 10% more than they did previously, and referees are giving out more yellows and more reds to the supposed home team. So we have to discount that. It's almost like a neutral field. Having said that, I gave Martinez an 8. I thought that, look, I do think Leno has competition now. I mean, Martinez has been with us since, 2012? He's been here a long time. People like Ebony has probably seen him quite a bit and have a good perspective on his capabilities. He seems to have all the key attributes you need in a goalkeeper. He has the height. He's good in the air. He's good in distribution. And he's fearless. And he's playing to be the number one. And when you're playing to be number one, you find a way to dislodge the person who's in front of you. And he's definitely taking his opportunity. And it's unfortunate that two of our better players play the same position in the goal, and therefore only one can play at a time.
And here's the deal with that, Bertram. When you are somebody who's coming and he's doing everything well, he's coming out for corners well, he's minding and managing his area better than Leno. He's a good shot stopper, as we've seen as well, but his distribution is better than Leno's as well. And he doesn't make mistakes, which is something that Leno consistently does. When you see things like that, if he carries on doing this, it's hard to drop him. Do you keep clean sheets because of goalkeepers like this? And if the performance is consistent, game on game, it's going to be hard for Leno to get that number back. Spitfire Jay, what's your grade on Martinez?
I originally had an 8, and then, to be honest, I dropped it to a 7.5 because I thought he was good. I don't think he had a lot to deal with yesterday. When I really analysed the game, he did have he was there when needed, but yeah, just he played well. He played very well, but he didn't have a lot coming at him. But we'll get to that throughout the rest of the yesterday evening. So I give him 7.5.
Excellent. Ebony, I've given him an 8.5, and he was my joint man of the match. I have two people on 8.5, and he read every situation well. He's brave. He's confident. There's things that he does because he's just on another level mentally. And even the commentators have talked about that in each and every game that they have talked about. He's just keeping clean sheets because he knows what to do. He's coming out when he needs to. You know, people talking about Traore missed that shot when he chipped it over the line. But he missed it because Martinez was quick off his line and he was filling that circle and cutting down on the amount of goal that Traore could see. He's just doing everything well. He's handling his area well. For me, joint man of the match he is. What's your grade on Martinez, Ebony?
My grade is 9. Possibly my joint man of the match as well. I thought, his acrobatics, his reading, his shot stopping, his command of the area, all of the above are better than Leno. And I've been saying this for the past 2 years, and everyone's shot me down and telling me I'm talking absolute garbage. I said it before and I'll say it again. He is better than Leno. Okay? I don't care what anyone says. Continue to shut me down. I've even said it on the 101 group as well, but people are like, yeah, but but Leno's still head and shoulders above him because he's been there longer. I myself have said so many times that Leno, his decision making is poor. Some of the decision making has led to goals. Yes, he has saved us on a few occasions, and Leno has been man of the match. But for me, Martinez, he's just he can't do any wrong right now. I mean, yes, he's prone to making mistakes, and the way he dealt with that low ball yesterday, where he just like stretched on the grass. I mean, and his overall command of his area, it's just he can't do any wrong. 9.
And there's one thing that great goalkeepers have, and it's just one word: consistency. That's what makes you a great goalkeeper. If you're with the thing is with a goalkeeper, when you do well, nobody says nothing. But as soon as you make mistakes, everybody's after you like a pack of wolves.
And the thing is, a lot of people have said that Leno is better because he's got more experience. That's only because he's actually been used more. We've all seen Martinez in goal during Europa, and he did pretty well. As far as I'm concerned, he was better than Leno. I'm not quite sure why Emery dropped him in favour of Leno during the Europa. It didn't make any sense to me when Martinez did pretty well. So yeah, so as far as I'm concerned, he's a better goalkeeper than Leno.
So we got Dave. Dave's asking the question, Apollo, what do you think of Arsenal's recruitment recently? I think the recruitment recently has been fantastic. I think that they've messed up the Maitland-Niles. The players Maitland-Niles brought in are very good. And I thought that Edu's inclusion of Martinelli was excellent. And I think the addition of Pablo Mari and Suarez were brilliant as well, because they're two bona fide players who fit within the system. Now, this is important, David, because we talk about why was Liverpool successful. Liverpool was successful because Jurgen Klopp brought in not just good players, but players that fit his system well. And it's important for Arteta to do exactly the same thing. Don't just get somebody because they've got great numbers or they've played well with their previous team. Get somebody who you know would be able to adhere to your philosophies, that can fit into the system and the ethos of the team. That's really important, because we've seen at Liverpool how that is more important than just getting someone who's worth 72 million like Pepe, yeah? If you got someone who's great and does some individual amazing stuff, then he comes to a team that you're supposed to run together with like a well-oiled cog machine, and the guy doesn't fit in the system well because, like Alexis Sanchez, that was the issue with Sanchez. Sanchez was good at Arsenal because Arsenal had no ethics. It was like Wenger just said, go out on the field and express yourselves. So you were allowed to do what you wanted to do. As soon as he went to Mourinho, who was someone who had a philosophy and a certain way of doing things, Sanchez is useless in that system because he's a player that he loses the ball all the time. Yeah, sure, he produces some magic, but the guy doesn't play within a system, and it's very difficult to have success when you've got a team full of players who are not doing what you want. And I alluded to the fact that we've got Ozil and Guendouzi are just not even on the bench right now. So Arteta is suffering no fools. And this is the reason why this thing is working. So as for the recruitment, I think it's going really well at the moment. Guys, in the chat, let's hear your grades for Mustafi. Bertram, you go first this time with Mustafi.
So I want to change my grade on Martinez from 8 to 7.5. I agree with Spitfire. I'm reconsidering this because it's going to affect all my other grades, and I don't want to overrate players. He didn't have a ton today. He made some good saves, but I'm thinking about balancing out because I didn't think anyone was an 8 or a 9, frankly. When I think about the game in its totality, I don't think anyone got an 8 or a 9, regardless of the fact that we win. That's what I talked about before, almost how having the same grades at the inception, the discussion, because of how the game evolved and how the players played. I gave Mustafi a 6.5. And I actually read a lot from different forums and also from different newspapers about their grading, and they're all over the place. There was no consistency. I gave him a 6.5. I think he needs to learn how to pass the ball. His physicality works well sometimes, but it gets him in trouble a lot of times. He's this conundrum wherein he attacks the ball all the time, and he doesn't realize sometimes you have to be patient. If the forward is not going anywhere, you don't have to foul him and give away a free kick because we're not good in the air anyway. The closer the ball gets to our box, the more nervous I get when he gives away free kicks because we know we're going to struggle to get the ball out of our defense. So I thought he was a 6.5. I thought he played well within how Mustafi plays. He was physical. He attacked the ball that he normally does. And he was part of that whole group between him and Xhaka and David Luiz that clogged him into the field, which made it difficult for Wolves to penetrate.
Okay, so Tony, there's this thing.
Interesting.
Yeah, guys, try not to overthink the grades, man. They are what you.
It's gonna get worse when you get a Saka, by the way. So keep going. Yeah. It's gonna get worse.
Fine. I'm just trying to say, try not to overthink it. It's really based on what you feel. What you need to understand is you're given, and this is directed at you, Bertram. You're given a defender who's kept a clean sheet against a top 6 sides, 6.5 out of 10. And this is our 3rd clean sheet. We're starting to make this a habit now. Against the, Jimenez and Traore, against a really, really, really strong attacking side. So you've got to think, it's got to be...
The game was played, here's the thing that you guys are missing. The game was not played in the defense for both teams. How many shots did Wolves have? How many shots did we have? The game wasn't played in the final third for both teams. It was not. So for me to give David Luiz an 8, for example, makes no sense when David Luiz really got involved in a lot of tackles. Somebody kicked Torre down to stop him from passing it. David Luiz wasn't dominating the game like he normally does with his passes to Aubameyang on the wing. So I can't give great grades if there wasn't that constant involvement and you constantly managing and mastering the game. I just can't.
Yeah, and that's, and you know what, I respect that. I don't agree with it, but I respect it because David Luiz, as you can see, he was my joint man in the match. He made 2 key blocks. We only allowed 1 shot on target, 1, and that was due to the work that Mustafi and David Luiz did. And the 2 key blocks, both were on target. Both were going to have an impact on the result, or was going to push Martinez into a save. David Luiz did that.
There's such thing as don't allow someone to shot.
Hold on, Bertrand.
Go ahead.
He also led the team with 6 headed clearances. That's important. So for me, that is a standout performance as centre backs against a top team. Remember something, and I will compare this to when Conte played him at the pin in the 3 at the back when Chelsea won the league. That's where he was yesterday, and he looked very comfortable. And and again, difference of opinion. All grades are subjective, and I respect yours. I'm just telling you why mine's are vastly different from yours. Yeah.
No, and look, I respect that also.
Okay, Tony.
Okay, so
Mustafi.
I'm gonna come back on the end of Bertram's comments, because when it comes to passing, we all know Mustafi is not a great passer. What compounds the difficulty for Mustafi is he doesn't see that available midfielder. And it's really funny you mentioned that, because you might see me turn my head this way every so often. I'm watching Man City playing Southampton right now live on BBC.
Are they still 1-0 up?
Yeah. And Fernandinho and David Silva are constantly their outball from the defence. Constantly. And I remember watching the game yesterday thinking, who's Mustafi going to pass to? Nobody's making that. And obviously we're looking for Ceballos, but there were times when Ceballos isn't putting himself in a position where where he becomes a constant outball. Yeah. And what it looks like is, if you look at the game again, you'll see constantly they press out, looking for David Luiz to find a space so he can find the outball. Yeah? So more often than not, if you press David Luiz, you force Arsenal into an error, because he either has to go back to the goalkeeper or he has to push wide to Kolasinac or Mustafi, who are not good at finding the next ball, especially when those 2 midfielders ahead of him aren't making themselves that easy target. I'm not joking you. The way Fernandinho and David Silva make themselves available is fantastic. And we all know about that ability that slow players have. Kevin De Bruyne is the classic. He just makes space for himself. Dennis Bergkamp, the best ever. Yeah, just making space for yourself. So I'm just going to, that's my point to your point, Bertram. Mustafi has it difficult to find a 30-yard ball. He can't do that. He finds it difficult to do a 10-yard ball because the players aren't making themselves easily available.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
But
that's why we miss Ozil.
Right. So all of that being said,
really?
He had a good game. I'm giving him an 8.
Hey, good. I just threw that in there for fun. Although there is some level to it. Ozil does work hard. We know the kilometers he's run, and that's because he's always trying to find space. But as a player,
we won 3 straight. We don't need Ozil. Well, please. Let's move on. We have moved on.
I'm with you, Bertrand.
Arteta and I have moved on. Arteta and myself, we have moved on.
Bertrand, I'm with you, bro. Don't leave me behind. I'm with you, man. There's some guys who are throwing up some late Martinez ones. Dan's given Martinez a 9. Stephen gave Martinez an 8. Aaron gave Martinez an 8.5. So those are the ones that tie up Martinez. Let's first, before we go to Spitfire, let's see if we can find some grades for Mustafi. And here we go. Mustafi gets an 8 from 18. An 8 from Cool K. Improved, massively improved. David's given him a 7.6. We've got an 8.5 here. James has given him a 7.5. Stephen's given him a 7. Vincey 7. Okay, so it's it's gone. Oh, sorry, Martinez was 8.5. So you've given Mustafi a 7. He did play well, Dave. He did. Any other grades? Dan's given him a 6.5. Aaron a 7. So Spitfire, talk to me about Mustafi, someone who normally cocks it all up, but yesterday clean sheet against a top team.
So I'm just going to quickly backtrack to what you said about what's happened in previous weeks. I can't look at it like that. I need to look at it what they've done yesterday, match per match. Mustafi yesterday played well. That's more how he's supposed to play than how he's played previously. I mean, there was still some times in it I was shaking my head. He's that kind of defender. Whenever somebody approaches him or wherever he's got the ball, my heart is doing this because I'm like, I'm sure he's going to mess up. He's just going to do something. It's Mustafi. Yesterday, luckily, I think bar one slip when he slipped, but Louise came in straight behind. I think he played decent. It's one of the best matches I think he's had in a long time. You know, as you said, the past few matches he played okay, but I gave him a 7. I gave him a 7 yesterday because it was solid, but again, it goes back to the midfield done so much work yesterday that the defense didn't really have to do a lot. They held Traore down. That was the main man. Just hold him. He's big and powerful, so just lead him where you want him to go, and they did that well. So I gave Mustafi yesterday a 7.
So as you guys know, and it's a little bit of a cheat for me because you guys know I do the match day commentary, so I'm typing all this stuff down and I have to reflect on what I write in order to help me do the player ratings, which I've been doing for years. So some of the things that I write down I'm just more so reminding everybody of what they've done. With me, I gave Mustafi an 8. Very much improved. He helped Cedric shut down Traore when Traore was just getting way too busy. Helped to keep Wolves quiet. Defended convincingly, which I really liked. Another clean sheet from Mustafi. But most importantly, which none of you guys have mentioned, he helped to create the second goal with that header. It was a header that went about 40 yards, just dropped into the path of Willock, and then we know what happened. Willock then squared it off to Lacazette, and then it went into. But that was all from Mustafi's header. So I've gone for an 8. Great game from Mustafi. Solid. I call him the serial offender. Nobody here beats him up like I do. But when a man turns up and plays well, you got to give it to him. So I'm giving him the respect that he deserves. Ebony.
I'll give him a 7. Yeah, I mean, he was all right. He defended pretty well. I mean, he made a couple of mistakes, as he always does. But I think he's one of these defenders that plays well when he's got someone better beside him. And I just think that, David Luiz was better than him yesterday, which is probably why he played well. So, he kept a clean sheet. Yes, he provided an assist, but he's still error prone. And I'm one of these people that, despite the fact that he played well yesterday, I still want him to go because he's one of these defenders that has a good game of once in every 10 for me, which is not good enough. So, but on yesterday's game, he did pretty well to keep Traore quiet, and that is because he had someone alongside him who was better. So 7.
Good. And we've seen him play right back a few times, and this 3 at the back kind of really suits Mustafi more. It doesn't suit Klasnach, but we'll come on to that in a second. But it does pamper the frailties that this team's been suffering with in the previous formation. This formation is so good right now because it's tailor-made to the strengths of this team. Arteta knows that, and that's why he's going with it. But I do want to say that, and we got some marks there. We got some more marks. Sorry, guys. T and Kez. Kez has gone for a 7. And T's gone for a 7.5. T, if you can, throw out that Goon Squad number so that we can see it. And much appreciated, bro. So, guys, let's move on to David Luiz. Bertram, what's your grade for David Luiz? Guys in the chat, throw your numbers up for David Luiz. Let's hear it for the boy right there.
So, like I was saying yesterday in the one-on-one chat, I think we see why Arteta wants David Luiz in his team. I thought he was done after the Man City performance, frankly. The whole Arsenal fan base wanted him gone. But look, we're not in training a lot of times, and that's why we don't see what people are producing continuously and why the coaches sometimes pick them. I gave him a 7.5, but the reason was I thought he was commanding in terms of he didn't have a ton to do, just like Mustafi. I think we're not giving the midfield enough credit, as Spitfire mentioned about how they clogged the middle up. That's why Traore was boxing. It wasn't Mustafi boxing Traore in. It was more of that clog in the middle where Ceballos played a little bit deeper than he normally does that prevented the defense from being exposed. And David Luiz didn't have to make a ton of tackle except when he took down Traore. So I gave him a 7.5 because of his command. because, as you mentioned before, his headers and trying to get the ball out of the defense. And also a few of his passes did find their targets, but uncharacteristic of him, he missed a couple of passes. And I thought yesterday, even though Xhaka got blamed for missed passes, we were all over the place with our passes, especially Kolasinac, more than anyone else. We couldn't make a pass to save for our life. And that's part of our problem, which is we're not keeping the ball as we used to like in previous seasons. We are poor going through the lines. We're poor getting from defense to midfield to the forwards. And that's why sometimes we don't score goals, because we can't keep the ball. I watch Man City play, and I'm thinking they have the ball in our half and we can't touch the ball. And yet, even in Wolves yesterday, Wolves could play the ball in our half, play 1-2 with Traore and other players. We don't have that in our team. You don't see us keeping the balls in the other opponent's third. We do a good job of passing the ball around the back with our defense. And as soon as we get over the half line, it's a whole different ball game, trying to retain the ball. So I gave him a 7.5.
I totally agree. I mean, that's why we talk about time after time. We mention Cazorla a lot. We talk about when Arteta was playing with him, you had guys who was comfortable on the ball, Aaron Ramsey, comfortable on the ball. You just don't have those guys who can keep possession, the Fabregas type of guys, the Nasri type of guys. And we looked a little out of our depth yesterday in the midfield, just not knowing where to go with the ball. Nobody running into space, trying to pick up the movement, trying to receive the ball. We're not there yet. And I think with Arteta, and what I said about judging him too quick and giving them time to fill out, let's deal with one problem at a time when it comes to this thing right here, because I'm sure in the summer that's something he's going to tackle, because Wolves really made themselves accountable. It was a good battle yesterday, but and Liverpool and Man City, they would torture us for something like that. You cannot afford to give away possession. So let's hear about David Luiz. 18 is giving him a 9. David's giving him a 7.9. Kez has given him 8.5. Aaron's given him an 8. Scricketball's given him a 7. Stephen's given him 7.5. James an 8. Cool K a 9. Man of the match, Apollo was, bro, I told you, everybody watched the game. You all saw the blocks. We're not blind. We all saw what I saw. Yeah, those are some. One of them was from Jimenez, and the other one was from Traore. And he can't believe he put his body on the line. And that's what you got to do. That's how you get clean sheets. Don't leave it just to your goalkeeper. Throw your body in front of the ball. And no one's really. I think it was Troops and DT gave him some respect for that, but I ain't really heard too much people come out and talk about that. And David, yeah, he made some key blocks, and that's what it's all about. That's how you keep clean sheets. Dan 7.5, 8.5 from Zabala there, and he's making some passes, but again, nobody was really making them available in the midfield. Vincey's giving him a 7. Big shout out to Killer Beezy, Leonce, what's good, man? Love to the grandchildren, right? Dante and Wakia, my 4 grandkids that should be watching this stream. Big shout out. Granddad loves you guys. And yeah, let's move on to Tony. Tony, what's your marks out of 10 for Louise?
First and foremost, one of my friends is typing in my chat that Jay, you are the second coming of Nicholas and Nelka. And I've actually had to pull up a picture, and you know what? It's not far off.
Tony, real quick, I got a free upgrade. One time I went to Ireland. They thought I was a Nelka, and I signed his name and everything. Got upgraded to first class, mate. I'll take it. I'll take it.
There you go. So hope you heard that listening in. Okay, so David Luiz for me, I picked up on how influential he was in the back line. You know, I kind of listened in to what he was shouting, and you could see he was the vocal part of that defense. And considering that we're playing a great team as good as Wolves, well, not great, but a good team at the moment, they're on hot form, and we kept them to 0, very few chances, and we kept a clean sheet. I'm giving him a 9. He marshaled that defense very well. And he was, as I said, I looked carefully to see what could we do building from the back. And it seems that no one else is capable of making a pass except him. So for that, salute. And, much like you said, Apollo, he received a lot of criticism, and I hold my hand up. I gave him that. But when he does a good job like he did yesterday, you have to praise him. So yeah, 9 for David Luiz.
And the most important thing that you mentioned there, again, you talked about leadership. And I want to take us back a little bit. And this is something that some of you guys know this, some of you don't. So part of this is just information to everybody to share. We talk about leadership. We have talked about David Luiz, and we've heard some people in the panel say he's not a leader. Well, 2 things here, 3 actually. He's won everything in the game, from the World Cup, Champions League, he's won everything in the game. You don't do that if you're not a good leader, or if you're a good player. 2, he's been essential to our success under Arteta, to the scores, the clean sheets, the games that we're playing away. But the most important thing that I saw, I did mention when he had his arm around Mustafi and when he was talking to Cedric Soares in the previous game, and he was talking to Martinez, a goalkeeper. He's communicating with his leadership with these players. And I want to bring 1 point for anybody who's got a problem with David Luiz. This is my message to you. Saka, when was interviewed about signing his contract, they said to him, which is the most influential leader in the team? Saka said this. He said, I'm not going to mention any names because I don't want anyone to feel left out. But I have to mention David Luiz. He's been a mentor. He's been a teacher on and off the field. Now, guys, if you didn't see that interview, please go and see it. But if you was failing with the lack of knowledge that there was no leadership on this team, you're wrong. Because now we know it's been talked about, and we need to hear these things. The same reason why we would talk about Arteta and what Mendy and David Luiz and De Bruyne and Sterling, how they all bigged him up, yeah? How Sane bigged him up last month when they, Leroy Sane, when they bigged him up. And he didn't even mention Pep. He said, the guy that's attuned to me as a good player is Mikel Arteta. So we need to give David Luiz respect for what he's been doing with this team, because he's leading this team right now. That's a fact. Yeah, we haven't just made it up. That is a fact. And when you see performances like this, for me, I gave him an 8.5. He was my joint man of the match with Martinez. And as I said, controlled possession at the back. And listen, he put a smart foul on Traore that earned him a yellow card. Had he not done that, Traore would have been straight through on goal 1-on-1. Yeah, he took one for the team there, guys. And some nice 6 clearances, headed clearances, led the team, led the whole game with the most clearances and 2 key blocks. For me, standout performance. Spitfire.
I gave him a 7. I think he done what he's supposed to do for me. Yeah, like someone just said, he was solid. He played well. The block and the yellow card, I wanted to mark him up a little bit more for that, but I couldn't. I'm just going to say solid performance from him. Like you said, he's a leader. He is a leader. But him, like Mustafi's been prone to too many mistakes. So, again, whenever I don't feel comfortable when our centre-backs have the ball. Or when they're trying to stop.
You're not judging him on previous. You're judging.
No, I'm not. I'm judging him fully on yesterday. That's why I said I'm not judging him on previous.
Yesterday.
Yeah. I think he done well. I think he played well. That's how I want to see him play. I want to see him build on what he done yesterday. Yesterday, I just felt he lacked. Usually, he bangs in 3 or 4 of those far cross-build passes to one of the main guys up front. I don't think he done enough of that yesterday. Besides the 2 blocks, I think he just standardly played well. But that's my theme for the team yesterday. I think we played well, better than we have been playing. And that's with him. He played better than he has been, which has been 5s and 4s. And so I want to say yesterday, I gave him a 7. I think he was good, solid. And that's what I want to see from him. I want to see that from him, what he done yesterday, every week. If you have to take one for the team, take it like that yesterday. Put that block in and save that goal.
And as I said, if you've been watching the live streams, Jay, you know that I've said that Luiz has been our most consistent player under Arteta. He wasn't fit. He had that one bad game against City where he wasn't really even supposed to play. And he's bounced back well from that, back to the form he was when we were on that really good run with Arteta before the lockdown. And that's what I expect from him. KB's is saying, in my opinion, our defense is so bad that we defenders have a half decent game. It seems like an overly good performance compared to what we're used to. I think the difference with that, Killer Beezy, was we haven't beaten a top team away from home since 2015, 5 years.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then we go down to these guys' place who we've never been able to get a result for. They've had 7 clean sheets in their last 8 games, Wolves. No, they turned over Spurs. They turned over literally everything. The only team that the last team to beat them was Liverpool in January. And my biggest fear yesterday was that we couldn't even score a goal against them because these guys are bulletproof. And what did we do? We came in and we performed like we did yesterday. And although that's not reflected in some of the scores that we're hearing here, the whole team deserves kudos for turning over a top team. And listen, big respect to all them guys yesterday. Ebony, David Luiz.
I give him an 8. I thought he blocked well. I think this is one of these games where he has to use that performance. And I know we say this a lot about David Luiz, but he has to go from yesterday and produce the same type of performance that he did. I thought he dealt with Traore very well. And this is what makes him better than Mustafi. And this is why, Mustafi looks good playing next to him because Mustafi has that bit more experience and he's just a better defender. But I thought he did well yesterday. Yes, he does make mistakes. Yes, he has, his mistakes has led to goals. Yes, his mistakes has led to him being sent off. But I thought, he did pretty well to, shield Martinez. So yeah, 8.
So guys, just before we go on to Klasnach, and guys in the chat, can you send your grades out of 10 for Klasnach, please? I just want to address David here. David always coming up with some great stuff and remarks, David. And you're saying Man U are on crazy form. I was watching a video yesterday that showed that Man U's front three have outscored Liverpool's. Guys, if you haven't understood that right now, Man U's front three this season have more goals collectively than Liverpool's front three. Guys, Man United are one of the teams to watch out for next season. These guys, if they can get the defense right, these guys are going to be dangerous. But yeah, big shout out to that. We're going to Klasnach now. Bertram.
I thought he was poor. We keep talking about how everyone played well. I thought his passing was atrocious, frankly. I gave him a 5. And we have to consider something yesterday, actually. It was a game within a game. I think the manager for Wolves, I'm a closet Wolves fan, I must admit. I was born in Wolverhampton, so I'm a little bit of a closet Wolves fan, even though I'm more of an Arsenal fan. I thought he was poor yesterday to manage the game. First of all, he did a half-hearted press. We don't handle press well. If he was watching tapes of our games, we don't handle a full-blown pressure from any team. He sometimes decided to press, that he came back. And he has athletes that can press, and he wasn't pressing yesterday. He didn't play Jota either. So I won't go into the Wolves strategy. I just think there was a game within a game, and he got it all wrong. I thought Kolasinac was not good yesterday, but he wasn't our worst player. He was our second worst player yesterday. I gave him a 5.
Come on.
I'm going to my worst player. I'm going with my worst player when we get there. I'd be surprised about this. If people will like it.
I know
it is what it is.
I know
it is what it is.
Yeah,
Kolasinac got a 5, and he was lucky he got a 5. He wasn't good yesterday. I'm sorry, but he wasn't. He was okay.
You know what I love about this, Bertram, on the Game Thread Matchday commentary, me and you throw banter each other all the time. Yep. So when we get to the player ratings, we kind of know what each other actually are going for before we even start. So I know exactly where you're going with that. Let's see what the guys in the chat is saying. 18's going with a 4. And yeah, David, I can't comment on that yet. I did make a statement to Goon Squad this morning, but I have not heard anything at the moment. I heard that certain things have been agreed, but are not at the moment. So I'm not going to say anything on it yet. Where I'll go. Stephen's given him a 5.5. Kuke's given him a 3. Kes has given him a 3 as well. I2 Bad has given him a 5. Vincey's given him a 3. Dan's given him a 6. Tony, what's going on?
Game over. 1-0 Southampton.
Wow. And we don't do that in the semi-final of the FA Cup. Come on, man.
Exactly.
Come on, you Gooners.
Come on.
Carlito's given him a 7, and he said, helped us keep the clean sheet. Yeah, I think that's justified in your score, most definitely. Tony, what's your grade on Klasnach?
Listen, again, he's just not a good player. That's just simple. We say this over week in and week out. He's not a great player. If he had his best ever game, he'd probably get 5. So that's how good he is. He's not that good. He'll never have a 9 performance. So you know what? I didn't think he was terrible. He didn't make a disastrous mistake like he has done previously. He's a tank for a reason. We know he's a tank, and he puts his body on the line. So thank you for that. I'm actually going to give him a 6.
Oh, that's good. That's generous. Quite a few guys have as well. Before I go to Spitfire, let's see what David now's asked me. Apollo, how do you think Arsenal would be next season? Right. So when I do my videos, you guys see on YouTube, I always put up the current form, which is the last 6 games. And since Arteta's taken over, Arsenal have been in the top 4, mostly have been in the top 2, just underneath Liverpool in current form. So I'm going to put myself out on a limb here, and I really shouldn't because I'm a realist. But I think that Arsenal have a very good chance of making the Champions League and finishing in the top 4 next season with Mikel Arteta, considering the fact that he's able to bring in the right players in the summer. I really do believe that because I believe in Mikel Arteta. I believe in what he's doing. The results are speaking for themselves. This team is very hard to beat when everything is right. And we've already beaten Man United. We should have beaten Chelsea if it wasn't for Leno. And I like where we're going with this. We're turning over some top teams. We beat Everton. We beat Wolves at their place. Let's see what we do against Leicester and Spurs. But I like what I see. And at this point in time right now, my prediction would be that Arteta is going to take us back into the top. And if it doesn't happen next year, it will probably happen the year after. So that's what I think on that.
I just want to add to what you've just said there. One season can make a big change. Yeah. This Southampton team at the start of the season lost 9-0 at home to Leicester. Have just beat the champions, the ex-champions.
Yeah, it's the Premiership, man. It's like this is what I don't like when people say, "Oh, it's only Norwich." When you beat Norwich, it's the Premiership. Norwich beat City 3-2. It's the Premiership. That kind of mindset is one of privilege and snobbery, and it's one I really, really, really don't like. And a lot of Arsenal fans are like that. Oh, we're expected to turn them over. No, we're not expected to turn anybody over. No, we're not, guys. Let's be real here. If you don't show up 100%, this is the Premiership. You go home with your tail between your legs. Spitfire, Klasnach, you got the conch.
I gave him a 6. I thought, again, we kept a clean sheet. He done his usual. I don't expect much more from him. He's a tank. He's there to just stop people running down and just, if they get a certain way, clock them. He's not skillful. He's not the best passer. I mean, when he first came, he was doing some all right crosses from the left when he got in front of the man in front of him. But I just thought yesterday, standard, just an okay game. He didn't do anything outstanding, but then he stopped him from scoring. So he's playing okay. He played okay yesterday. I saw a lot of complaining at the ref from him, which surprised me. A couple of times just shouting at the ref, asking for the card. So yeah, a 6 from me. Just done standard.
Big shout out to Neomis. As you guys know, he's one of our regulars on here, so you'll see him on air on Wednesday. So Neomis, big shout out to you. He'll be around on Wednesday, and when we talk about the player ratings for the Leicester game. And the thing about Klasnach, I'll give my grade now. I've given him a 5, and I thought he didn't do too much well, didn't do too much bad. I thought he was pushed out of position. He's not a centre back. And when he was getting pushed out of position, I was kind of like, yeah, he's struggling right now. He struggled to track the runs. A lot of the runs was going in behind him. He wasn't tracking them, letting attackers behind him. And that's why they moved Traore over to his side. Traore is dominating him, and then they had to bring on Maitland-Niles and to shore that up. I gave him a 5. I'm not really going to say too much about it. Ebony, Klasnach.
3. It's poor. Can't defend. My 75-year-old mother can defend better. I'm sorry. I was actually surprised to see him seriously at the back yesterday. Yeah,
75?
I'm being serious.
Hey, I just went to see my mum. My mum's birthday. My mum is 77. So yeah, I just went to see my mum, man. So big shout out, Patricia Campbell.
This is a man who attacks people with a knife, by the way. He didn't run. He attacked the person with a knife with his bare hands.
But seriously, I was actually quite surprised yesterday that he was playing his centre back. Because he can't defend. He's more of a winger. He can run forward. He's actually a forward player. He's not a defender.
Yeah, you're 100% right. You're 100% right. And Spitfire's having a bit of connection problems at the moment. But Spitfire was talking about his game. Oh, you're still there? Yeah, your screen's blanked out for a bit.
Okay.
The thing about Klasnach is he does perform well further up the pitch, and we just haven't seen that lately. That's what's striking to me. We're not seeing him doing that, and Kieran Tierney is all over it, man. Kieran Tierney now is adapt everywhere, defensively, in the midfield, in the front, in the final third of the pitch. Kieran Tierney is racking it up right now.
Klasnach is somebody that I'd like to see gone by the summer, and just get a proper defender in, a proper left back or right back or centre back to cover him. I
know we all look at some things, but again, I'm a bit of a stat, all right? So I'm just going to give this for you, Ebony. Yesterday, Kolasinac only was bettered for tackles by Granit Xhaka. Only Granit Xhaka made more tackles than Kolasinac.
Yeah, okay. What, in yesterday's game? That's like one game in every 10.
So we're only talking about yesterday's game. We're not talking about
the other 9.
We're talking about yesterday's game.
True.
You're saying he was the worst player, and he made the second most tackles, and the only player that made more tackles of him wasn't a defender.
Yeah.
He had an average game for me. Yeah, he had an average game for me. So just want to shout a big shout out to Kes. Thank you very much, bro. And for all of you guys who donate to the channel, I seriously, I love the appreciation you guys show. It really does help. We are going to be hitting out of the stratosphere soon. We're going to be doing live game watch-alongs. I've been trying to get a female show going on, but I don't think that there's a lot of demand for it. I know we're trying, guys, but there doesn't seem that demand for a female show. So I'm kind of working on a Goon Squad show at the moment for us to do. So if that takes off, that would be great. Otherwise, guys, we're trying our best to give you the best service that we can. So big shout out to you, Kez. I appreciate that, bro. And guys, let's move on to Cedric Soares, Bertram. And guys in the chat, throw up your numbers for Cedric Soares.
So I have to manage my views on Soares because his first game in a long time, he's coming off an injury. I thought he was okay. I gave him a 5.5. I thought his passing could be better. I thought his support for Saka. I'm laughing thinking about Saka. Maybe that was why he played that way he played. But I thought Soares could have done better yesterday, even with his long-term injury. That doesn't affect your passing. It affects your stamina. It affects how you may be positioning. But I thought he was about a 5.5. And I expect more from him. I think I've watched him on videos and I've watched him at Southampton. He's a better player than he showed yesterday.
That's a definite, Bertram. But again, Bertram, this is the first game he started in 6 months. So actually it's 7 months. First game started in 7 months. So I agree with you 100%. He looked like a player who was slightly behind in his makeup, but it's still a really good game. And what it is, positioning-wise as well, was excellent. And I can't wait to see what this guy looks like when he's up to full speed. So that's a definite there. Let's hear what the guys are saying. Cedric Soares, 18's going with a 7. Vincey's going with a 7. Kez is going with a 7. Cool K 7. Read the game well. Yeah, he did. Again, we're talking about positioning. Some players are very poor with their positioning and get caught out. This guy ain't going to get caught out. This guy's a wily old fox. He knows the game. He might be a little bit short and might not have started a game in 7 months, but you can see the good things that this guy can bring to the team. Arteta sees it every day in practice. That's why they gave him a 3-year deal. And I can't wait to see what this guy does when he gets going. Stephen's giving him a 7. Bare 7s right now. I'm too bad's giving him a 7, considering he's just come back from injury. That's exactly what I said. Yep. Daniel's 6.5. Daniel, you had to be the man that dropped that one a little bit lower. Neomis has given him a 7. David's given him an 8. Yeah, big respect for that. He was solid, bro. Cricket Ball's giving him a 7. It is a very smart signing, bro. It is a smart signing. Tony.
So I have a comment. I have a comment for Tony, which is, I think we're giving 2 additional points for a win. Maybe I should change my grades. I think we're giving 2 additional points.
Bertrand, they played well. They beat Wolves. Yeah, they beat Wolves.
I'm talking about how you played. This is not about how we won. It's about how you played in the game, your contribution to the game.
Bertrand, what was your predicted score?
I thought we'd probably lose 2-1.
Yeah, I agree. We won 2-0.
No, actually, I predicted 2-2 draw, but I thought we'd lose. I say 2-2, but I thought we'd lose 2-1, actually, even though I said it was a 2-2 score.
Yeah, Tony, you got the conch.
Okay, so and just to finish off Ebony's point about how poorly
come on, Tony. We're talking about Cedric Soares now, man.
No, I've got to give the guy his credit. He didn't lose a tackle. 100% tackle. Yeah, rate, and he also has the second highest pass completion rate in the defense. So, and on to Cedric Soares. Decent game. Didn't make any mistakes. Same as Kolasinac. Didn't do anything that made me think, well, here comes the next coming of Christ. I mean, Tierney is impressing. Cedric is just getting on slowly, after his heroics in midweek. So I'm going to give him a 6. I'm not going overboard on him. I'm going with a steady 6. Good performance. Let's see what he does next time round.
Okay, so from my game notes,
he ran out of energy. So,
he did, yeah. He's really short on fitness at the moment, which is what Arteta talked about. Again, I talked about how Traore was just bashing up on Kolasinac, and Kolasinac couldn't keep up with him in the slip. But as soon as they put Soares on him, he locked up Traore along with Niles. And it was also Soares' pass that caused the move leading to the first goal as well. I thought it was a good start from him. I gave him a 7 as well. Good, solid game. Spitfire. Soares.
I give him a 6.5.
Excellent.
Decent game. Like we said, just coming back. Nothing outstanding, but a good player. Solid. I need to see more of him. But yesterday he done all right. Got around the pitch well. Like we say, that little middle part, that little triangle dealt with Traore, who was their danger, who was their main danger yesterday. So I give him a 6.5. Played well. Solid performance. Nothing outstanding. I can't think of anything really outstanding what he done, but yeah, solid performance. 6.5.
I just want to answer David. Why did they get rid of him? Because his contract was running out, bro, and he was going to walk on a free. And he had already told them that he wanted to go to Arsenal, and Arsenal gave them a couple of million to subsidize the loan. And that's where we are right now. It was a smart move from both teams, to be honest, because if Southampton didn't get rid of him at that point, they would have got nothing for him. So that's why they've done that. Adrian agrees with Spitfire. Adrian also gave Martinez a 6.5. Yeah, we're kind of we've done half of the team already at the moment. So if you want to let me know what your thoughts are about the previous guys, because we are at Ebony at the moment now for Cedric Soares.
7 is okay. He's short on fitness. You could see that he was panting towards the end. Yeah, it was all right. He'll only get better. and he's somebody that I'd like to see next season. So yeah, 7, standard 7.
Excellent. Guys, throw up your numbers for Kieran Turney in the chat room. Bertram, Kieran Turney, this is going to be interesting right now, because remember, we talk about African Gooner, yourself and me talked about Monreal, and we talked about how we called him Mr. Consistency, because for me, Monreal was getting 7, 7, 7, 7, 7 every single game. Well, guess what? My grade for Turney is 7. Again, that's the 4th game in a row I've given him a 7. I've typed in creative delivery from out wide positions, fantastic, defended well again, slipped into cover for Klasnach on several occasions when Klasnach failed to track his runners, and the delivery into the ball, into the box is always coming from him. He's such a consistent, every game it's like he's giving you the same thing. And this is what we wanted, Bertram. We wanted somebody who was going to get at that level that Nacho Monreal was at. Over to you, bro.
So you finally got a grade right, which is good. I mean, at some point, you had to get one right. No, look, I think Tierney played well. He's been playing well, actually. What you get from him is what you expect and more. He has physical abilities. He has skill. He's a good passer. He's quick. He has all the attributes apart from the physicality, which he needs to go in the gym and lift some weights to build up that strength. But
bro,
all the
you saw that
looking
picture
for,
where his veins was popping out and he was doing that.
he needs to do work. They be popping out. He's skinny as hell. He needs to put on some muscle. He's still not there. That's why he got moved, actually. That's why he replaced him. Because Traore was bodying him up and pushing him off, and he realized, Arteta realized, what I thought was the man of the match, frankly. Arteta realized that he needed someone a little more physical, a little more robust, and that's why he put Maitland-Niles on the wing. But Tierney had a very good game. And I think a 7 is a deserved rating. Agreed. So, Paulo, congrats on finally getting the grade right as well.
Yeah, well, so you're saying me and you don't get much of matches when it comes to grades.
We don't align with it.
So David's given him an 8. We've got a question for Ebony as well. I'll come back to that in a second. Vince is giving him an 8. Cricket Ball's giving him a 7.5. Kez, a 7.5. Adrian's giving him a 6.5. 6.5, Adrian. Yes, Turney got that assist. That's what I'm saying, bro. Listen, he's locking that up right now. And he had to cover for Klasnach as well when he couldn't track the runners. Tierney is the real deal right now. Who's giving him an 8? And Too Bad's giving him an 8. 18's giving him a 7. Yes, Mr. Consistency. We're going to have to start calling him that now because he's tracking out these grades every game. Daniel's giving him a 7. Kouke's giving him an 8. Tony, before we come to you, we've got a question for Ebony. Ebony, Joseph is saying thoughts on Ceballos. Just wondering, should we have him for next season?
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, there is talk that he wants to go back to Spain. I like him. I mean, when he plays well. He does a better job than Ozil, as far as I'm concerned. So, I know that's a bit of a debate, but I'd like him to stay. But, it depends on, what he really wants to do. Does he really want to go back to Spain? Does Arteta want to keep him and play him instead of Ozil? So, yeah, I'd say keep him.
So Ebony, I don't think he does a better job than Ozil, because Ozil doesn't have a job. So you can't compare someone who doesn't have a job with someone who has a job.
Mad ting right here. Mad ting. So we got some more scores. We've got Stephen that's given him a 7 as well. And yeah, David, I said he was mega pissed at him because he was allowing. See, and this is the thing, he's not a centre back. Klasnach isn't a centre back. He was too close up to Traore, and Traore was just zipping past him. When you saw Tierney having to mark him, you sit off it. It's like a cornerback in American football. You have to have a cushion between you and the right. If you're up against a wide receiver who runs a 4-3, why are you going to try and play bump and run? Because if he gets a first step on you, he's gone. So you need to have a cushion there, whether it's 5 yards, 10 yards, depending on whether you're in zone or man coverage. You can't play bump and run against someone who runs a 4-3. You just can't do it. And I think that the mistake in terms of techniques, we're talking about coaching, with Klasnach, he's not a centre-back. He just isn't. So we've gone. David's gone for 5.9. Ceballos. We're not even on Ceballos yet, bro. So listen, we are still on Kieran Tierney. Whose goal is it next? It's Tony's.
Me.
Tony.
Me.
Kieran Tierney.
So yeah, Kieran Tierney, Mr. Consistency, Mr. Reliable, and an assist. So with that being said, I'm giving him a 7.5. Thank you very much, sir.
Excellent, excellent. Spitfire.
I gave him an 8. I think yesterday is just his game is just, you know what you get. It says it on the tin. He's a mad Scot. He's gonna run all day. He's gonna, we haven't had somebody who can go from left back. Well, technically wasn't left back yesterday, but get them crosses in and defend and cover. I think the guy's amazing since he's come. Back from injury as well. Yeah, I think he's a really good player. And yesterday, get that little assist in. Yeah,
the fact that he ripped into Klasnach, man. I mean,
yeah, he's a madman. Who does that? As I said, a mad Scot does that. This guy, you said it earlier. He fights people with knives. So to shout at him, you've got to have some balls. But he knows what he's doing. He knows what he would be doing behind there if he was the player behind. And I think that's what was getting him. Look, dude, stand here. He's telling you what to do in his position. Stand here, do this, and that's what I like from him.
And there's one thing, Spitfire.
And anyone that gets balls in the box.
And Spitfire, when I was at Watford, one good thing, when I knew I was playing well, I would shout at somebody. If I knew I had a shit game, I'd keep my mouth shut. Because if you say to somebody, if you point out what they're doing wrong and they'll just look at you like...
but have you seen you? Yeah. So yeah, you keep it. So he knew he was doing well. He knew he was getting an 8 from me. That's what it was.
For real. Ebony, talk to me, man. What's your grades?
Yeah, I love Tierney. I could marry him tomorrow. 8. Look, that left side is his. He hones that, and the sooner he gets back to left back, the better. He can run. He can cross. He's got an eye for a pass. He has no fear, and that's what I want to see in a left back. So yeah, 8.
Excellent. Iron Too Bad says Tierney for future captain. No, bro, that's Rob Holding, man. There's only one captain I want to see in this team, and that's Rob Holding. I ain't bad about nobody else. For me,
he's gonna be like Vermaelen. He's gonna be like Vermaelen. He's a captain on the bench.
Nah, Rob Holding, man. I think for me, Rob Holding and William Saliba are the futures at centre back for this team. That's what I hope. That's what I hope happens. Guys, we're going to move on to Granit Xhaka. Guys in the chat, throw down your numbers for Granit Xhaka. And I'm going to probably go after Tony on this. Bertram, you got the conch.
I gave Xhaka a 7. He made a number of bad passes. But I know we're giving individual accolades to players on the team yesterday. It was team defense that allows the bottle of Wolves. It wasn't, nobody can mark Traore. Traore cannot be marked by any one person. It's not possible. Not with his strength and speed and skill. I thought we funneled him to the middle, and Xhaka, as Tony alluded to, made some of the most tackles on our team yesterday. He made a number of bad passes like he normally does, but part of his game is the good and the bad. But I thought overall he bottled up that middle yesterday. And Arteta said this, actually, that he and Ceballos controlled the first half in the middle. Think about what their midfield is. Martino and Neves, they have a very good midfield. They weren't dominating yesterday. So I think what people are missing is the fact that Xhaka made good bad passes, which everyone does. And I'm not a Xhaka fan like everyone else, but I thought yesterday, and we talk about individual game, I thought he bottled up middle up. And even though he's slow of foot, he still did a good job of protecting the back four. That's why he didn't have a ton of pressure, because he and Ceballos were that barometer there, that push against Wolves forwards and against Wolves midfield that allow us to have some relief in the back. So I gave him a 7.
So even with the balls he gave away, you've given him a higher mark than David Luiz, who had 6 clearances and
I gave David Luiz a 7.5. I think it was.
Oh, you did. Oh, I take that back. I apologize.
No. I gave him a 7. I gave David Luiz a 7.5. No, I have my grade. I compare my grades. I don't just give grades like throw them out like free. They're not free. They're hard to earn. You later.
They're not free. Not free. That's in New York, man. No free. That's in New York. 7. So, guys, we've got what are the guys saying in the chat room? Let's hear what our boys are saying, man. 18 saying 5 average. It was an average game from him. I didn't see anything spectacular. I thought He controlled possession quite well. Again, I'm looking for that killer pass, guys. I'm looking for that ball going forward and creating havoc on defenses, and I ain't seeing it. Every week, every time we come back here, and every time I have to grade this guy, I'm still waiting for that pass.
Why?
I want one pass. Yeah.
Why?
Joseph has given Xhaka a 5. Again, average. David's given him a 7.8. That's a fair score, bro. Stephen's given him a 7. Neomis has given him a 6. Vince has given him a 7. David Xhaka was outstanding. Kez has given him a 7. I'm too bad. If Xhaka was immense yesterday, keeping the midfield honest. 7. Carlito, 7. But should we cash in on him? Yes. Well, look, if they get Thomas Partey, then I don't know. Look, if I had to choose between Torreira and Xhaka, I'm choosing Torreira. That's just me. But for me, guys, I'm different because I'm still waiting for an apology to the fans. Yeah, that's why. If he apologizes, then maybe I'll look at him in a different fashion. Cricket Ball's giving him an 8. Marshall, the midfield. Tony, Granit Xhaka.
The complexity of Granit Xhaka, the player we all hated not so long ago, myself included. And much like yourself, Apollo, until he actually comes up with a public apology, I'll never forgive him for what he's done. However, based on yesterday's performance, the man, and to be honest, it's a few performances, the man is a key component for Mikel Arteta. He should be wearing the captain's armband, but for the fact that what happened. Listen, I'm going to take Xhaka over Torreira because he's a team player. Yeah, he's not an individual. His passing is not great, but I see a few people are saying Xhaka and Partey would be a potentially good CDM partnership. It's about presence for me. Thomas Partey and Xhaka facing you against a diminutive Torreira. I just want the big guys. I want 2 big guys protecting the back 4 or back 3, whatever it is. So for yesterday's performance, most passes, a lot of tackles, he's getting a 7 from me.
Excellent. I've just had somebody that has sent through a £25 donation, and they asked me not to say anything and mention it and not mention the name. I don't know why you don't need to mention your name, bro. I mean, it's all fair and it's all good, and it's much love and respect to you guys. And as you know, man, YouTube is a real thing right now, and I really do appreciate the support that you guys are showing the channel. I really do. I didn't get to 2,000 subscribers by myself. It weren't me. Yeah, I just gave you the content. It's you guys who are pushing the channel. So I really do appreciate the love, guys. And so thank you for that £25 contribution. I really appreciate that. And we've got a few more scores. We've got Kuke with 5. We've got James with 7.5. And where are we now? So we're with Jay Spitfires. Xhaka, grades out of 10.
I gave him an 8. I thought he was great yesterday. As you said, there's a reason why he's, topping a couple of those tables. I think people are still looking for this apology that's never going to come. Still using that against him. And you can't, Tony, we have to get over it at some part. He done what he done. He played solid yesterday. Marshaled the midfield to me. Played very well. Nothing got to the defense because very few got through to our defense because of the midfield, and he was pivotal in that yesterday. So, tackles and passing, he done what he was supposed to do yesterday, which is just Marshall breakdown play, put a tackle in, pass the ball. We only pass sideways now.
Sideways.
So he done that.
Well, no, he only passed sideways.
Well, yeah, I think
we only pass. No, you had it right. We only pass sideways.
We only pass in general sideways now. We've gone to El Neni brought it in.
Yeah, I can't agree with that. Kieran Turney would disagree.
He passes it sideways into the box. I'm happy with that, but the rest of the team they tend to just pass sideways now. So I think he done what he was supposed to do very well. You know, I gave him an 8 for that.
Excellent. And I actually gave him a 7. I thought he controlled possession as well as he could. He picked his passes carefully and he helped it to defend the area. I'm not going to give him any kudos on passing because I'm looking for this guy who everybody says is a passer to make a pass, and he ain't making one for me. And Vincey, I got to put up Vincey right here. Vincey, this is exactly my thought process right here. Vincey says, misconception with Zach is that he's in the team for that killer pass. With Louise in that role, Louise is the killer passer in the team, not David Luiz. And he's saying, Xhaka is a sideways passer until further notice, just keeps the ball moving. Yeah, and I think that's, if you can keep the ball moving, you know, which is what Mesut Ozil does, then at least that's something. It might not be a great thing, but it's something. Where we're falling, and what Bertram has alluded to, is we can't keep possession. And that's a big problem because you can get away with it when you're playing a mid-table team, a lower team. But when you're playing a top-tier team who knows how to work ball retention, and they will absolutely murder you. And I think we saw a level yesterday. I did mention it in the live game commentary, where we were gassed. We ran our socks off in the first half. We were working twice as hard as Wolves, and that was because we allowed them to facilitate much of the ball than we did. We didn't really start coming into the game until really the second half. That's when we started to kind of dominate possession. But before that, we just couldn't string 2 passes together. We were embarrassing at times. But one step at a time, guys. That's something Arteta will take care of when he gets there. Let's look after the shape of the team, the cohesiveness. Let's look after the defensive stability and proportionally help the players when we're trying to win the ball back, or obviously when we're trying to move the ball down the flanks. So let's move on now. We're going to Ebony. Ebony, hold on, Ebony. I've got to do this with you to get you back into your position. We're like the Brady Bunch on these circles, we are. Ebony, Xhaka.
Xhaka, that's 6. Yeah, you know, mistakes. Yes, all right, he made some tackles. Made a couple of passes. You know, his usual sideways, backward, well, sideways, and more sideways. I don't know why he doesn't do that killer pass anymore, but you know, I'm not going to wait for that apology anyway. You know, that's all gone now. But in terms of yesterday, it's just average 6.
Yeah, I've got to be honest. It wasn't this game. It was the Southampton game. I was watching Xhaka, and it's amazing. Teams in the Premiership now, the midfield, don't allow you to sit too long on the ball and make that killer pass. And every time I was watching Xhaka cross the halfway line, he was getting rushed. And when you're getting rushed like that, it's very difficult to pick out the pass you want. And that's a lot, maybe the reason why he passes sideways and backways a lot. And this is the Premiership, man. A good team will not allow you to sit too long on the ball, especially if you're getting pressed. And so that might be some of the answers that you guys are looking for. Let's talk about Danny Ceballos now. Guys in the chat, throw your numbers up for Danny Ceballos. Bertram, you got the conch.
Before I touch on Ceballos, I want someone to tell me which center midfielder makes killer pass in the Premier League, apart from maybe Fabinho from Liverpool. And he can do so because he probably has a little pressure, given how spread out they are and how skillful their team is. Fernandinho doesn't make killer pass. Matic doesn't make killer pass, but Tommy doesn't make killer pass. I don't know which center midfielder we're talking about that makes a killer pass that's in the... But Anderson and Fabinho are the same. They have space. They don't even play CM all the time. They sometimes play out wide. Fabinho's in the middle. But Henderson can make a killer pass because, you know what? He got room to make a killer pass. They don't get pressure that much. Nobody's going to press Liverpool apart from Man City. But anyway, we can go to Ceballos, who spins a lot, who likes to spin. And what people don't seem to understand is this. We talk about Xhaka and others in terms of making killer pass. You have to be able to create space to do so unless you're not being pressed. Xhaka doesn't. That's what I love about Partey. People keep talking about his defensive capabilities. I watched him this morning for 25 minutes, his highlights on YouTube. His ability to beat it, the first person that he encounters, to then create room for himself, give him his speed, his long legs, and his ability to shift left or right, allows him then to create space to make that killer pass that we talk about, or to find and or keep the ball and find his other players. Xhaka doesn't have that in his locker. So let's just think, and Xhaka is a yard man. See? Xhaka tell him to go ahead. All people are cursing him. Say, go ahead. No yard man is gonna say, I apologize when you're giving them stick. Really? That's not happening. Jack are a bad boy, and Jack we want you until we get rid of you. Anyway, so back to English.
That's why he told him to F up in the first place. He's like, what?
Yeah. Bad boy. So I gave Ceballos a 7 also. I thought it was one of the better defensive game he played yesterday. He didn't spin as much like he likes to do. He can get out of trouble sometimes, but he doesn't go forward enough when he gets out of trouble. That's part of his problem. I thought he played well defensively. He's a lot of energy. He has much more energy than Xhaka and much more physical capabilities, and he gets around the park. I thought he played well, and I gave him a 7.
Yeah, I'm Schwartz all day on that, bro. I'm Grimaldi all day on that as well, man. I'm not having it. I'm not having it. I'm not having it. I'm not having it.
Alex Song.
Yeah, listen, Song. Yeah, Song. I would Song. I would put in front of all of them, brother, right there. All of them, brother. 16 assists in one season. Tell me how many assists.
Yeah, but Apollo, it's a better team then. You have Fabregas, you have Nasri, you have all these players who you have to mark them individually. You can't afford not to. People don't understand this. I can cheat off you if I don't respect your ability to get by me.
No.
You can't cheat against Fabregas. You can't cheat against Nasri. You can't cheat against Adebayo up front. Against Van Persie. You can't cheat against those players. You got to play them as close as possible. If I beat you, I create room for myself. Song did great that season.
Yeah, the balls he put over to Walcott to beat defensive traps was absolutely astonishing. That's got nothing. That's him. That's not the team. That's him. You earned those 16 assists.
You said Walcott, who's running like a 9,500. What are you talking about? Alaba from Valladolid says he's talking about the forwards that he feared. Walcott was one of his 5 forwards. He put Messi in the bunch. He had Walcott because Tia was so quick.
Yeah, for real, man. Let's see what these guys are saying. 18 saying Ceballos 7. Neomis is saying 7 for Ceballos. James has gone for 6.5. Stephen's gone for 6. I'm Too Bad's gone for 6. Kez has gone for 7. Vincey 7. Daniel 6. David's gone for 5.9. Any more scores? Adrian's gone for 6. Joseph has gone for 6 as well. Tony, you got the conch.
I like Danny Ceballos. I just think he's growing. He's taking the whole season to find form, and he's finally getting there. This is a kid who I think next season, if we retain his services, which is going to be damn difficult, he's gonna be fire somewhere. He's gonna be fire somewhere. And I know people are talking, oh, Matthew Guendouzi, but forget that clown. Let's get on with this guy, Ceballos. Yeah, he gets a 7 for me.
Yep. Big shout out to Kez there. I agree with that. It's because of the movement, man. And again, Walcott was one of them players that as soon as he got the ball, he only knew one thing, and that was to run forward with it. He weren't interested in passing backwards. Weren't interested in passing sideways. Walcott was just, let's get the ball, attack. And I kind of, when I look at Kieran Tierney and I see Kieran Tierney when he's on the ball, he's only thinking of pushing up the field. He ain't thinking of going backwards with it. And it's the mentality. So what are we looking at here? We're looking at another one that's going to be at 8 for Ceballos. Spitfire, talk to me about Ceballos.
I gave him a 7. Again, didn't set the world on a light for me yesterday. Yeah, good outlet, likes to run. Yeah, I think it's pretty average if I'm 100% honest. Yeah, 7 for me. I haven't really got a lot to say about him. He's getting better, right? Just, yeah, 7.
If you're Ceballos, Spitfire, and you look at your options, Real Madrid, you ain't going to play for Real Madrid. They don't want you. Bilbao is it's Betis. Real Betis is his boyhood team where he grew up, and he said he wants to go and play there one day. But you're playing in the best league in the world with Arsenal, with a new manager, one of the best strikers in the world, some of the best young talent in the world. And next season, the world's your oyster. Wouldn't you think to yourself, you know what?
I think he either needs to commit or go. personally, just free up that space for somebody else then. I'd rather, if he's going at the end of the season, I don't think he's doing anything that warrants him being in there in front of, say, for example, Torreira or whoever from the midfield you want to pick, even one of the young guns, dare I say a couple of the names. But make a decision, maybe Arteta too. Either we're going to keep him and he plays for us in his badge, or I'm of the opinion if you don't want to be here, you don't want to sign a new contract, thank you, goodbye. If you don't want to commit your future, a loan's a loan. But if he doesn't want to stay, I wouldn't cry. I think he'll probably go back to Madrid. Honestly, I think he'll go back to Madrid and give it another crack there.
Yeah, because
sorry, go ahead.
Because your options is to groom Smith Rowe into that position, fit Martinelli in the pivot, and then let him play right behind the strikers. We know Martinelli can defend as well. We know he can be accountable in that diamond triangle. Remember, we're talking about a diamond now. We're talking about a 3-4-3. We're not really talking about the native formation that he was working with under Pep Guardiola. This is something new. It's something working, and it's something that Arteta is going to try to improve. So
I take Smith Rowe all day. I like Smith Rowe. I think Smith Rowe is good. Got eye for goal. He looks strong on the ball. Likes to attack. I like him because he likes to get forward. Martinelli, I don't want him doing anything apart from shooting. I don't want him defending. I want him at the top of the pitch, putting the ball in the back of the net. That's how I want Martinelli. Too long under Wenger in that way. He used to say in the 101 group, square pegs for the circle holes. No, leave him up the top. Smith Rowe, yes, I'll put him in the top of that triangle all day over Ceballos. I'm not really seeing anything that makes me say him over ESR right now. So for me, it'd be ESR right there. I'm not compromising. I think we compromise too much with our players and positions, and I wouldn't put Martinelli there. So Ceballos, if you go in, see you later. Thank you, but we got Smith Rowe that can sit there already.
Excellent. Ebony, Ceballos.
6. Didn't do anything spectacular. He was just, made a couple of good moves, but I when I look at Ceballos, sometimes I just think that Ceballos is playing like he wants to go back to Spain, and I think that's what he wants to do. You could actually see it in his body language. He doesn't want to be here. He wants to go back to play for Real Madrid. But as was said earlier, Real Madrid don't want him. So where's he going to go? He can't go to Barcelona. So you may as well try and get into Real Betis. But another average performance for him, I think, really. But I'd love him to stay. But there needs to be some form of communication. Does Arteta want him to stay? Does he want him to go? We need to know where we are, because we need somebody in that position who actually wants to play a badge. So, but I mean, I just felt that his performance yesterday was just a non-plus.
Yeah, because we've never replaced Ramsey. Even now, 2 years or whatever years later, we're still talking about no replacement for Ramsey. And so let's move on to Bukayo Saka. Bertram, I've been waiting for this, my brother. Everybody in the chat room, throw up your numbers for Bukayo Saka, our new signing, our new wonder kid who scored the wonder goal. But is he going to get wonder grades? Bertram, over to you, bro.
So you and I were talking in one-on-one yesterday, and I thought before he scored, I had him as a -2.
He was awful.
He was.
I'm not gonna lie.
He was beyond awful. I haven't seen someone since Santos play that badly, or left back way back when, in a game. And I gave him. I understand he's 18 years old. I know it's a part of the signing his contract. I understand all of this euphoria around him and all the things I read. You think he was the man of the match. All I read about, his scoring. It was a very good goal. It was a very composed goal. Well taken, well placed. I agree, all of that. But if I took away the goal and say, what else did he do in the game? He was atrocious. The worst game I've seen him play ever.
Yeah.
So I gave him a 5 for the goal and a 0 for everything else. I ended up with a 5. Because the goal put us in front. The goal gave us momentum. The goal gave us that comfort and made everyone calm down and relax. So that was well deserved. And also, he said in his interview that the reason why he ended up in the place he did because he knew Tierney was going to cut the ball back. Now, we did deflect off a defender that come to him, but at least he's reading the game and thinking about it.
Yeah.
But apart from that, he was awful.
So I'm not going to dispute your grade, but I do want to ask you a question, because part of the reason why my grade is a 7 is because of the defensive work that he did. So talk to me about the defensive work he did yesterday, helping to shut down Jimenez.
I know we're giving credit to people to shut down Jimenez and Traore, who I think were the ones who shut them down. I don't think Mustafi and Soare shut down Traore, because mainly on Tierney's side. I think Saka put in the defensive shift. So between his defensive shift and his goal, gave him a 5. But I thought Saka his offense, when he doesn't play offense well, it affects his defense actually. Even though he's a kid with a lot of energy and he still put a shift in. But look, when you lose, if that was Xhaka played like him yesterday, he would be slaughtered. Even if he scored a goal, he would have been slaughtered. Think about it. When did he make a pass in the first half to his teammate? For the entire first half of the game. Did he make one pass to his teammate? So
he looked like
we can give credit for his defense.
He looked like a fish out of water on the right. He didn't.
What I said 101 yesterday was he looked like he was an under 23 player playing against adults. That's how he looked yesterday. He was just out of it. Look, he needs a break. I'm smoking.
Man said he's smoking that shit.
You guys are typical fans. What you normally do is you praise who you like. You give credit to who you like. You don't, give a difficult grade to players you like. And people like Xhaka and Mustafi get slaughtered a lot of times. I judged it based on the game, within that game, how you contributed to the result. And Xhaka yesterday, he scored, so he gets a 5. But otherwise, he was a -2 or 3, period.
Yeah, and David, I think that Arteta's going to turn him into one of the best young players in the world. I truly do. And
let's not confuse your innate capabilities or your skills with your performance in a game. Let's not mix the two. Let's not mix who you like. Let's not mix your capability and your skill and how good you are with how you perform at a date and time. Saka was terrible yesterday.
Yeah. Let's see what the guys think, shall we? We've got 18 with 6, David with 7, Vincey with 5, Joseph with 8, Neomes with 8, saying fantastic, Stephen with 7.5, Kuke with 5, even with the goal, played some silly passes and got himself into trouble on the right. Yep. Neomes is saying, come on, -2. He did say 5 with -2, so he kind of plussed it all up. Let's have a look. Kez, did Kez give any numbers here? I'm not sure. Let me go down. Cricket Ball's given him a 7.5. Kez is giving him a 7. Daniel's given him a 7. I'm Too Bad's given him a 7. He gets a 2 extra for a boost on the score. Yeah, that was me, bro. Bro, I gave him a 5, but I gave him an extra 2 for the goal and his defensive effort. Adrian has given him a 7. And I think that's all that we've got from there. Yeah, so I gave him a 7, guys. He did get himself into trouble on the right. But when the situation was called for him to produce magic, he nailed it. What have we talked about this team lacking for the whole of this season? Midfielders running into the box late. That's what we talked about. Xhaka did it in the Southampton game when he scored the second goal. And Saka did it in this game, running in front of midfield. Like Bertram said, he knew Kieran Tierney was going to pop that ball in, which is what he does all the time. It's like how you can wind up Pepe on the right as well. You know Pepe is going to deliver a ball in there. So you make yourself accountable and you make yourself an option in the box. Saka did that. He got his just rewards. I wasn't sure why they took him off in the 70th minute, though, because he was rested in the game before. So I wasn't sure what that was all about. But yeah, again, strong defensive performance from Saka as well, as far as that goes. Tony, you got the conch.
Oh man, Saka 6.5. Good goal, great goal, fantastic technique. I didn't think he was as bad as Bertram makes out. I think he was not as high performance as we've become to expect. But you know what? Considering the way that he's getting pulled from pillar to place, play left back, play left midfield, play left centre back, play right centre, right midfield, play right attacking midfielder. You know what? It's one of the guy even knows where the goal is. The amount of minutes he's playing on the pitch. I'd be surprised if he doesn't play in goal by the end of the season. So yeah, thank you very much for your contribution, sir. Thank you for signing the thing, and take that. Take that.
I think Arteta said himself that Saka had a very difficult first half. That was his assessment of Saka's game, and I'm sure he's trying to manage what he communicates about Saka. He took him off in the 70th minute because you know what? Even with a goal, he still wasn't having a good game.
And guys, look, let me ground everybody right now. Let's get back on the ground with our own 2 feet. We were playing Wolves. We were playing a team that had an astonishing defensive record this season, this year, since the lockdown, not even letting in a goal. We were playing a team that over the last 2 seasons has got the best record against the top 4 teams in the league. If you take all the other teams playing the top 4 teams, Man United, Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester City, Wolves have got the best record against those teams. So when I hear a lot of people trying to give us high standards against teams like that, come on, guys, ground yourselves. Understand and remember who we were playing. They're not going to make it easy for you, these guys. They're well-oiled. They know what they're doing, and I respect Wolves big time. And look, we punched them in the mouth last night, and I loved it. Every minute of it. Spitfire.
Actually, Apollo, before you go to Spitfire, that makes the case when you play well, you get a great grade. When you play against a very good team and you do extremely well, that's how you get your 8s.
Spit.
I gave Saka 6. I think me and you were on the phone and we were saying, why is this guy giving away the ball so much? Does he not know how to pass? Like, what the heck happened? It's like he signed the deal and then said, you know what, I'm splashing out, went shopping, drank some drinks, turned up late. Oh, you're playing on the right. Oh, I ain't done that in ages. And he looked like a fish out of water. He looked lost. I was like, I couldn't believe. I was like, this is the guy we just gave a new contract to. It's like he played amazing until he signed and then relaxed. I was like, no, I gave him a 6 because of the goal. Because I'm like Bertram, he's like a 5. Like, dude, I was borderline in 4. Oh, then you scored. Thank God for that. You didn't make me give you a 5. But yesterday, I know people are going to say right is not his position, but you still give it your best. Basic passing, you can do basic passing anywhere on the pitch. You know, it doesn't have to be turn around, ball to your player. You know, same color shirt, pass to him. Yesterday's passes were short. I found he was playing a lot of back to goal. He was facing his goal a lot, so turning, and he kept coming back. I want you to get the ball and head for goal. Get the ball, look up, pass the player in front of you. And yesterday he didn't have that to his game, so I give him a 6 because he on yesterday's performance, it wasn't good. He wasn't good yesterday.
And Spitfire, as I said already, he was rested the game before, so it wasn't like he was tired.
I don't know, maybe it's the whole deal, you know, because even in the groups that we're in, everybody was talking it up, signing the thing. That might have been playing on his mind, but you would have known if you're signing it or not. I just think maybe his head wasn't. I can't accept that his head was 100% in this game. I don't believe kids get tired, but maybe he's tired.
And they took him off in the 70th minute.
Yeah, I think they had to take him off. He wasn't, besides the goal, he wasn't great. He wasn't great. I'd have subbed him. What we done?
That's euphemism. That's euphemism, Smith.
It's true. So yeah, 6 for me.
So, come on, Ebony, man. Saka, your boy.
Look, I've got mad love for the boy, but yesterday he was playing like he wanted to sleep. Apart from the goal, which was well executed, almost like a scorpion kick. I think he's tired. I think he signed that contract and just thought, let me just like relax a little bit. But seriously, he didn't have much to his game. He couldn't pass for shit. I love you, Saka, but yesterday it's just no. But like I said, maybe he just needs a couple of games off so that he can actually get his breath back. But But apart from the goal, if it wasn't for the goal, I'd have given him a 3. Otherwise, it's a 5 for the goal, just because of that goal, a well-executed goal.
Yeah, I think for me, you got to think back. This guy's 18 years old. He's just signed the contract of his life. For you guys who don't understand how the contract worked out, it was a 4-year deal with 5-year option. He was currently on $3,000 a week, and now he's on $30,000 a week. $30,000 a week. That's $120,000 a month for someone who's 18 years old. There's a lot of. That's when you know you've made it. You've been at a club since you was 8 years old. You've had to fight for that position. He said himself, I didn't think I was going to get to the first team at this age. I knew someday I could make it, but I didn't expect it to happen so soon. Imagine the emotions going through that kid's head. You know, look, I love the kid, man. I think he's going to be amazing.
His agent should be fired.
I'm not going to tell him that.
$30,000 a week? Are you crazy?
That's quite normal.
Hudson-Odoi is getting $150 because he see on his contract. He had 1 year left on his contract. Why would I take $30,000 a week? I don't care whether I'm making $3,000. I'm not taking less than $70,000-$80,000 a week. No way.
Personally, I think $30,000 is enough for an 18-year-old. I think
there's no such no. He could me could go tomorrow and his career is over. There's no such thing. You get paid based on your value, your market value. And if he's the best player on the team in terms of performance for the year, apart from Aubameyang, then you know what? You get paid based on your performance.
Tony
It
disagrees.
doesn't work that way.
Yeah,
it doesn't work that way.
It does work that way. Hudson-Odoi did it.
No, it doesn't.
Guys, look, remember, Martinelli signed a contract with us last summer. That contract didn't even last 12 months because he re-signed 4 days ago. So you can go on, Tony.
Listen, what you gotta understand, Bertram, is if his form drops and he's shit next season, yeah, and he's on $70,000 a week, you are gonna be going, why are we paying him so much?
Too bad. He's getting paid. The money's in his bank account.
No, it's not too bad.
He's getting in the UK. He's getting about 16G after taxes. You tax at a 45% rate over what, 100 or something? No, sorry.
You earn what you get based on performances year on year.
No.
Which is why Messi is the top paid player. Which is why Ronaldo is the top paid player. They didn't start off with $500,000 a week contracts. They had to work their way up after years. You don't pay a player at 18, $70,000. Yeah.
So I see up my contract.
NFL, they don't pay Tua ain't gonna get paid the millions in his first year.
How much is Ramsey being paid?
That's why.
How much? No, Tony. It's all about where you are in your contract. When you have 1 year remaining, it's a whole different ballgame than you have 3-4 years remaining. And Ramsey's getting paid $400K per week. That's ridiculous for Aaron Ramsey. You know why? Because he's getting paid both on what it costs to buy him and what he's going to get paid in terms of salary. If you have 1 year left in your contract, it's a whole different negotiation. There is no way a person who has 7-8 assists for the year who would be deemed as the starter team going forward should be taking $30,000 a week. His agent should be fired.
Rubbish.
Sorry.
That's rubbish because you know what? There's a lot of players who you could say have got 7-8 assists in a game, and they're playing in a subpar team. So
no, Tony. He's 18. Tony.
All right, guys.
Being a stato just for the sake of being a stato. Let's be honest here, right?
Go ahead.
There are players like James Maddison, yeah, who's probably on about $30,000 a week, yeah, because he's not playing for Arsenal. He's playing for Leicester City, the lower of the team. There's probably players like Danny Ings, yeah, your glory boy, playing at Southampton on $60,000 a week, who you think should be getting paid $300,000 a week. You understand what I'm saying about stats?
It's all semantics.
Yeah, no, you're wrong. I know what you're saying. You're wrong. But keep going, Paul.
Yeah, listen.
You're wrong. You're just wrong.
Guys, Bertram, the word we should be using is not wrong. We should be using the word subjective. Yeah? It's down to your interpretation. And
just wrong.
Yeah?
I agree with the word subjective, not subjective. He's just wrong.
So, guys, before I go on to Aubameyang, I just want to say we got a question, statement from Joseph. Joseph, was Willock good yesterday? Deserves starting spot. I've been holding a sword to Willock's neck for the last God knows how long, and I thought he did amazing yesterday. I thought he was brilliant when he came on. That is what I want to see from Willock. And remember, he nearly scored in the previous game before when he just went wide of the right post. I think we're starting to see signs now of Joe Willock shaking off that rust and the poor form that he had earlier on in the season. I like what I see from Joe Willock. It's the form I've been wanting to see. And I've been talking about putting him in the pivot instead of Ozil, or maybe even Ceballos, to see if he's playing like that, then I would start him and see what you got. Because you know what? Ceballos is not your player, and Ozil's probably leaving. Let's see what you got for the future. If the man can lock down that position, yeah, then Arteta will blow him up. Trust me. So, yeah, all good things there, bro. Aubameyang, guys in the chat, let me see your figures for Aubameyang. We got 2 left to go, Aubameyang and Nketiah. So, Bertram, talk to me about Aubameyang.
So I thought Ab had a good game, actually, even though he didn't score. I gave him a 7.5. There's no look pass to Tierney. Actually, he passed yesterday because Aubameyang can't pass for you know what. But actually, he wasn't turning the ball over yesterday, which was a little bit surprising. He's playing defense. He plays defense when he feels like it a lot of times. And he was playing defense yesterday. I thought he played within the team yesterday, the team concept yesterday. And I thought he was very good. And his pass to Tierney, I thought was exceptional because it froze the defense. There's a no-look pass, and then a lot of crosses come in to score the goal. So I thought he played well overall, and I gave him a 7.5. And normally I'm very hard on Aubameyang because I think his passing is atrocious, and I think his defense is suspect. I thought yesterday he had a well-rounded game.
So I am clock watching with you, Bertram. Simultaneously, we talk about the same subject. In 30 games, he has 1 assist, and we hold him accountable for his game off the ball. And in the last few games, he's now had, this was his 2nd assist in as many games. He's turning it on, right? He's starting to do what we want him to do, which is make himself a facilitator off the ball, which he's doing. There's 2 assists now in a row. And he's playing defense. He worked hard yesterday, which me and Tony have always...
It wasn't an assist. It wasn't an assist. He played the ball to Tierney. Tierney crossed it to Saka. The assist goes to Tierney.
That's right. Yeah, the assist goes to Turner, yeah. But again, playing balls in wide positions on the left, which he's been doing with Saka for so long, he's getting better on the overlap. He's making himself more accountable on the overlap. He did with Saka. Our fear was that he wasn't able to do that with Tierney, and he's doing it. So I like what I see what he's doing. I gave him a 7.5, and I just think he's really linking well with Tierney, and I think he's using his speed up and down the flanks to cover positions in that shape. That 3-4-3 that we're playing. So I gave him a 7.5. Let's see what the guys are giving him. 18's giving him a 7.5. Stephen's giving him a 6. Vincey's giving him a 6. Leomis is giving him a 7. Daniel a 7. We've got Adrian with a 7.5. Just check in with Kez. Kez is giving him a 7. And no number from you, David, yet. Let's see what you're going to think, David. Tony, you got the conch.
7. I don't need to say anything more. 7.
Okay, because I know you're hard on him defensively as well. That means for you to give him a 7, you must have liked what he was doing on the flanks.
He was all right. It was a good all-round team performance, and he contributed. So 7. Good.
Spitfire, talk to me, man. Aubameyang, the team captain.
7. I hate it when he's anywhere but central. I couldn't care less on his assists. The guy scores goals, and that's what I want from my main goal scorer: goals over assists. You know, I want the guys on the flanks to be putting in the assists for him, preferably, or whoever. But yesterday, I thought he got up and down. Well, defensive game, I just hate seeing him like that. So 7 because he was all right. He was good. He was solid, but not the standout performances we've seen from him previously. But I believe with Eddie on the pitch and Saka on the other side, we was never going to get an 8 out of him against Wolves or 9. He played well. Shame we didn't get a goal. Good layoff. Whether it's an assist or not, I can't call it. But yeah, I give him a 7. Solid performance.
I think what was important for me, you guys remember my video, was my video saying the top 5 things we need to do to beat Manchester City, and Aubameyang was one of them. Star players play well in big games. And in the Brighton loss and Man City loss, he was absolutely nowhere. I mean, I think I gave him a 2 for Man City, and I gave him a 3 for Brighton. And here we are giving him a 7. This is games like this against a good team like Wolves. This is what he needs to do. So we've got a Cricket Ball's given him a 7 as well. David's given him a 7.1. Kuke's given him a 7.5. Moses has given him a 7. Ebony.
I'm going to give Auba 6. I have always said myself that I don't like to see him on the flank. I want to see him play centrally. That's where he plays his game best. Play him there. Play him as a part of the 2 up front. He's not the best passer. But he was unlucky not to get a goal early on in the first half. So, if you want the best out of him, as far as I'm concerned, you have to play Aubameyang as one of the front 2.
Yeah, and Keza's hit the ball on the nail here. He's at the nail on the head here. He's saying that he needs to hustle when he doesn't have the ball, and I think we're seeing a little bit of that now, and that's what the captain needs to do. The captain needs to be the one that's running harder than anybody else on his team. Set the right standards, lead by example. So, guys, we're going to Eddie Nketiah now. Eddie Nketiah, Bertram, and the guys in the chat, throw your number up for Eddie Nketiah.
I gave Eddie a 6.5. I think he worked hard. His pressing wasn't the same as other games. I think the way Wolves played made it a bit more difficult.
He worked the hardest on the team, bro.
Yeah, I mean, he almost scored a quick shot from the right. I thought he played hard. I thought he ran hard. He didn't get enough balls, and that's part of the problem for our forwards. The ball is not coming through to the midfield to then give the forwards an opportunity to do something with the ball or give them enough play to do something, and they struggle all the time. They're not getting enough ball. They're not being fed enough. I gave him a 6.5. I thought he had an okay game.
Excellent. Tony, Eddie Nketiah.
Works hard. First line of defense, I've got to give him credit for that once again. You can see why he's being picked over Lacazette just because of that work ethic. Nothing special. Had an early chance. I'm going to give him a 7 as well.
Yes, it's a very, very smart move to do. Let's look what the guys are saying. 18's giving him an 8. David's giving him a 7.8. Neomis is giving him a 7. Eddie, Moses is giving Eddie a 7. Kez is giving him a 6. Kuke is giving him an 8. And David's saying, yeah, he could have scored, mate. That's what's so beautiful about him. One little chance in the game nearly goes into the back of the net. Goalkeeper gets down really quick with his feet and makes a great save. It's actually a really great save. Vincey, 6. Stephen gives him a 6. Cricket Ball, a 6. And Kuke saying again, yep, when Eddie finally had the chance, he wasted no time in thumping it. Yeah, it came off the post. I didn't actually know that. I think I was on the phone to Spitfire, and we were talking about it. It was like, oh my God, actually, it's off the post. Yeah. It's off the post. Yeah. Daniel, 7. I'm too bad, a 6. Joseph, a 7. Spitfire.
I give Eddie a 6. I'm not an Eddie fan. I don't think he's great. He's no Ian Wright, and it looks like that's who he's supposed to be emulating. I don't see enough from him. I didn't think. Besides that shot, I don't remember anything else he done in the match yesterday.
Well, he ran down every ball that was going into the midfield defensively. At one time, when they were playing it out from the back, I saw him run down 3 players, and I thought, Eddie, that's enough. Get a breather. He carried on running down to another 2 players. And I looked at it and I thought, Lacazette would never do that. As Bertram said, that's the reason why Lacazette's not starting. This guy, yesterday, he worked harder than anybody on the pitch. The work he does off the ball, because he wants to start in that team. He wants to be the chosen man at number 9, and he's going to work his ass off for it, and he's getting his just rewards. Arteta is paying the man for the work that he's doing. And and also his goal scoring record, 6 goals in 11 starts in the league. You can't question it. Yeah,
He didn't do it for me. I'm sorry. I heard everything you just said. It's still a 6 because I just think he was average. One good. How many shots on target did he have yesterday?
I think he had a couple. I think he had 2.
Was it 2? Yeah. To me, it's not enough. You can do all of that defending. The game, we don't win on draws. You need to start to be that consistent number 9. He's going to have to score every match for me. And something like
every match
yesterday.
Every match.
Well, not every match, but you're going to have to be more prolific to me. On a team like Wolves yesterday, we needed a goal from him yesterday.
Yeah.
Saka popping up and scoring. Great.
Remember,
Eddie needed a goal.
6 goals in 11 starts means he's scoring every other.
Forget the rest. We're talking about yesterday. He needed something yesterday for me to cement him as it's 6 for me.
Yeah, as I said, the goalie pulled off a great save. Otherwise, he would have
did. He did. But that's football.
More shots than Aubameyang.
Yeah, more shots than Aubameyang. Ebony, before I go to you, I'm going to give my grade. He gets a 7 from me. He's always attacking. He's always switched on. He's always looking to run into space. He's always looking to run into the box. Always moving around, even though he had no service, as Bertram said. And when he finally got the chance, we saw what happened, thumping it off the post. A shame he didn't come away from the game with a goal because his effort definitely deserved it, and I give him a 7. This is how we need a number 9 playing every game. And what I've seen from Lacazette, especially coming back from injury, I don't think Lacazette is going to get a start in this game unless Eddie needs a break. Ebony?
I think the thing to remember is that Eddie's still young. He's what, 19?
20.
20. Yeah, he's still young. He's still a kid. So, any mistakes or any, not playing that well that he's not doing, that will surpass and he will become great. For yesterday's performance, I give him a 6. I mean, yes, he could have scored in the 34th minute. That's probably his best chance. He works hard. He likes to run. He likes to get into those spaces. It was average, but he's still young, and that's what people need to remember. I just read a comment saying that Gooner Eagle Eye says that he's another Danny Welbeck. He's got time on his hands. He's only 20. He can only get better. So, for yesterday's performance, 6.
Excellent. So, guys, that's our player ratings. We don't normally grade the manager, but I think in this respect we need to, because Arteta's tactics, game management, substitutions, and not just that, guys. He's the reason behind this 4 games. We've won 4 games in a row. We've had 3 clean sheets. That's Arteta. That's the Arteta effect. So, Bertram, do you want to go first? And guys in the chat, let me hear your grade for Arteta in this current run now and the game yesterday. Let's throw it up for Arteta. Bertram.
So I wouldn't just say yesterday's clean sheet was Arteta. I think Traore should take some responsibility for that, frankly.
No.
I think Traore. No. Traore, I could have scored that goal. I think Emily talked about her grandmother, 75 years old.
Martinez came
I
out.
would have scored that goal yesterday. No, it made it easier, actually. It made it easier. There's only one place to go. It made it easier when he came out. But anyway, I gave Arteta a 9. I thought he managed his opponent yesterday. The 3 at the back worked really well. He had his midfield compact. His changes were brilliant. I'm a Willock fan, as you know, and I believe Willock will turn out to be a very, very good player eventually because his language style sort of clouds some of his other attributes that he has. He can beat a man, which we don't have in the team a lot. He can score a goal. He has stamina and energy, and he'd be a very good player. And I think we should have graded him because I thought he was the best player yesterday, frankly, even though he only on the field for like 15, 20 minutes, if you do it minutes per game or contribution minutes per game. But having said that, Arteta was a 9. I think the greatest attribute he has is his man management. And if you noticed during the game yesterday, he was continually shouting out to Ceballos, Danny, trying to position his team when they're on the field, then they're out of position. And he's leveraged Pep quite a bit because his treatment of Lacazette is how Pep treated Aguero when he first came. Even though he was a star forward, he benched him because he wasn't working hard enough. He's forcing his players to work within the confines of what he's trying to put on the field. And it's clear that they respect him. His ability to communicate, unlike Emery, helps him. And you see a lot of pictures with him man-to-man, with Mustafi, with David Luiz, with Saka. When your manager takes an interest in you as an individual, it helps with your confidence. You listen better. You believe he values you and he want to give you an opportunity. And that's a great way to manage because the players would then sacrifice themselves for the team and for the manager. I think he did a great job yesterday. And the win should be attributed to him quite a bit. Not solely because the players are the one on the field, but he did a great job.
So, Tony, one thing I want to talk about now, which again I mentioned in the game live day commentary that I was doing, and actually again me and Bertrand was both talking about it as we was typing away with our fingers. We were losing a grip of the game about 10-15 minutes into the second half, and me and Bertrand were saying we need a water break. We need a water break. We were on the back foot. Wolves were looking like they were going to score and level the game up 1-1. And it was slipping at one stage. It was just like, this is it. I can feel a goal coming. I actually said that in the chat. I said, look, I can feel it. It's coming. A goal's coming for Wolves. We need a water break. What happened after the water break? We were in total control of the game. 80% of the game was played where Wolves were defending, and we were on the back. And remember the substitute with Niles. When he made those substitutes, it almost killed the game off for Wolves. And it's that kind of game management that I like to see that we haven't seen in a very long time. Tony, Arteta.
So it's interesting that you mentioned the water breaks because it turns the game into 4 quarters. And I have noticed that some of the best managers out there can change the dynamics of a game during that water break. I have seen it countless times. I watch a lot of football. Especially from overseas, and you see literally the water break comes, the players group together, the manager, if he's good, is hurling out instructions, redirecting the way the play's going to be for the 15-20 minute period, and all of a sudden you come out and it's a different game. And you know what? Arteta has to be praised for that. He has to be praised. You're right. The third quarter was a bad quarter for us. The fourth quarter, we put back on the. We became Arsenal again. We were on top form, and we went out. We started playing higher up the pitch again, and we looked like we could score again. So very, very well done to Mikel Arteta. The Arteta effect is taking effect. I'm pleased. I'm very pleased with what I've seen so far. I'm grading him an 8.
Good. So we've got James going with a 10. Wow. Yeah, especially because it's Wolves, he's saying. Kez has gone with a 9. 18's gone with a 10. Stephen has gone with an 8.5. Neomis has gone with a 9. Guys, you guys are giving proper respect right now. David's gone with a 20. Cool K's gone with a 10 plus. And listen, let's shout out Tom Aston because he was one of the others as well that was saying that we would win the game yesterday. And I said to him straight up, Tom, you're smoking something. And we won the game. So big shout out. Purple Harmony, Wolves plays with 3 defenders. Yeah, bro. That's the reason why they have the best defense in the league, yeah? But statistically, as they were showing up, Sky, on the game, they had the number 1 team defensively in the league. And the number 1 team, they've come from behind 21 times, more than any team in the Premiership. And we were able to see that game off. That in itself, that deserves a lot of respect from Arsenal fans. Daniel, an 8. Vincey, a 10. Moses, I don't see a number up there for you, bro. Moses says, with this modern era of pressing, you need players like Eddie to do it. We don't have any other creative midfielders, so you can only score through pressing. Liverpool did it perfectly this season. Yeah, and that's why Eddie's in there, bro. David said Arteta's improving the players. Adrian has gone for an 8. I think I'll go for a 9.5. I think it's almost perfect. What Arteta's doing every single thing I want him to do. He's winning away from home. He's having clean sheets. He's getting the formation right, the tightness, the compactness, the rondo. Everybody knows their spot. The only problem is we just don't have that quality player on the ball in possession, which you have to go and buy because we don't, I mean, Guendouzi's really good with the ball, but he's not even in the squad. So there you go. Mesut Ozil gets open in space. He's not even in the squad. So, we got to move on, guys. Spitfire, Arteta.
I give Arteta an 8. I think he called it well. You've got to adapt your team, when 3 at the back is required, play 3 at the back. Don't try and force the 4 at the back. I think he had some inspired subs yesterday. I think his substitutions were on point when he made them. Starting lineup was cool. It wasn't the one I would have called before the match, but it got the job done. I think with Wolves, you have to win it in midfield, and that's what he done with the players that he picked yesterday. So I think he done very well yesterday, and I give him an 8.
Excellent. And David has asked a question. Apollo, before Arteta, who would you want as Arsenal manager? My initial replacement for Wenger was always Jurgen Klopp. I made that very clear in the Arsenal 101 forums. And then I wanted Arteta. I think me and Tom Aston have been singing about Arteta for a long time. And I've been selling him up and bumping him up for years and finally got the man that I wanted. So Arteta's the guy who I wanted, bro. And I've got my dream come true. Ebony, Arteta.
I give him an 8. I thought his substitutions were great. The fact that he put on Lacazette was a good move. I wouldn't have, as far as his team selection goes, I would not have had Kolasinac in the team. He wouldn't have even gotten on the bench. So, but I'm glad he played the system that he did. And considering that it's Wolves, and Wolves are actually a very good side, so nothing can be taken away from Wolves. But I'm glad that we got the job done and we beat them finally.
Excellent. So, guys, listen, that is pretty much it for this round, and we've got Leicester coming up on Tuesday. I want to thank everybody in the chat, guys. Brilliant from feedback from you guys today. Love your input. Love it so much. I want to say thanks to my panel. And any closing arguments from you guys before I do where to find you?
I still want to see better from us.
What's that, Spitfire?
I said I still want to see better from us. We should be building. No more losses this season. We got to just build and just go out there to win. We are the Arsenal.
So do you think we can beat Leicester, Spurs, Liverpool, Man City in the FA Cup?
If we play like we remember who the hell we are, Arsenal FC, yes, I think we can. But it just seems we get out there and heads go down early. We can't get the basics right. Yesterday was a good platform to build on. It was a good foundation.
Who's remembering? Because none of them players can remember a good Arsenal team. I believe most of them are probably secret Arsenal fans, so they can remember what they heard. They never played in it. Yeah,
that's true, but they play football
it and playing in it.
Yeah, true.
But that's true. That with the ethos of the club, that is entirely true. What you say, you should come to Arsenal with some.
If you're not good enough, ethos is a great thing. But if you ain't good enough, you ain't good enough. Yeah.
You don't believe all the players are good enough. I don't think they're all good enough. I don't think they're all good enough either. But if you're lacing up your boots and putting on that shirt, you have to play like you know what Arsenal is about. You have to. Anything less is not good enough for me.
Right, guys, we just got to go around the clock one more time because Daniel wants to talk about the subs. We don't normally, but because they made such a big impact in the game. Bertrand, what did you think of the subs?
Look, I think as everyone said, I think Arteta's changes were brilliant. I think all the subs played well. Maitland-Niles was surprising to me because normally he probably sulks a little bit, and he came in.
He was brilliant.
Very physical, very physical. He put a shift in, and he helped to change the game. Couture was just getting comfortable on the right. I thought Willock, who was one of my favorite players, was brilliant actually. And his assist to Lacazette killed the game off. I thought Lacazette came in, looked like he wanted to come in the game, and he was late in the game when he came on, and looked like he wanted to prove something to the manager, which he did by scoring as a well-taken goal. So I thought all the subs actually came on and contributed really well. And all probably get as good a grade as the people who were on the field for the entire game, actually, because they all came in and they all contributed. It's not like the subs came in, they came in late and contributed. They all contributed to the win.
Tony, what did you think of the subs? Before you go, Tony, Vincey, just want to make an announcement. I am going to be doing a watch along for that FA Cup semi-final. I believe the program that I'm on now will probably, I haven't had it confirmed, but it will probably take me up to 10 people on the live stream. So hopefully, if any of you guys want to come onto the show when we do the live stream, please inbox me, send me a message, send me a inbox message on Twitter, and then I'll be able to bring you up on the show so we can have the Manchester City live stream watch along on this channel, going out to everybody in the world on YouTube. And just let me know if you want to be a part of that, guys.
I thought you was going to like invite me into the house for a little drinky poo.
So there's one less person. So you'd have to be the 10 number.
Yeah, I'm not one of them people. I'm not one of them people that. I'm not one of them people that flooded Soho last night.
I see people in the street now.
So Soho went mad. I told you, you're not seeing me around the pub. Tom was in the pub yesterday, man. Not me, bro. Not me, man. Tony, what did you think of the subs?
So Lacazette came on, finally did what he was supposed to have done, what he's paid to do. Very impressed by the way he took his goal.
Looked like last season, didn't it?
Yeah, Willock, superb. Ainsley Maitland-Niles, yeah. I mean, listen, credit where credit is due. The guy played phenomenally when he came on, and he shackled Traore. So, I like that in him. I'd like to see some more. I was kind of writing off Maitland-Niles, but I'm kind of intrigued now to think, would he potentially want to use his physicality and try and secure a place in the middle of the park?
Yeah, I think he will. When after the lockdown practice games, when he played him in the middle of the park and Saka, I knew then that Saka and Maitland-Niles were going to be middle of the park players for us. It's on the menu, and both of them have in the league featured for us in those positions. Spitfire, what's your opinion on the subs?
I think the subs were good. I think Laka did what we want Laka to do. Arteta said, split the defenders, then get the ball, turn and shoot and score. And he done that. I think Willock and Niles are substitute players. I don't see them as first 11 players for us. I don't think they're good enough. Controversial, I know, but I don't think they're good enough. So I think they've done exactly what they were supposed to do as well yesterday. Come on, cause some havoc. Get the ball, run at defenders, cause some havoc for the time you got on. They're not starters. Just come on 20 minutes. Yeah, that's what I would give them. So I thought they played well. But Laka shone for me. Laka done what I've been wanting Laka to do. Split them. I was watching part of it. When Wolves defense didn't have the ball, he was sitting in between the two of them with some space. Usually I find him too close to one of them or just way ahead so that he gets the ball, and by the time he gets it and turns, one can drop and one can come to him and he gets lost. Yesterday, I think he sat perfectly. That goal was taken really nice as well. The little tap to the side.
Yeah, and then, look, that's what he was doing last season. That was the Laka of old.
Yeah. But Laka this season's a sub.
Yeah, yes,
so,
it is.
Yeah, Laka this season's a sub. So he done what he was supposed to do yesterday, which is come on and secure the bag, secure the win.
So, Ebony, what was your thoughts of the subs?
Yeah, I thought they were brilliant. That they're more impact, especially since Maitland-Niles, he came on and he tore Traore apart. He bumped him off. But that's the part where he had a bit more steel than Tierney. Lacazette came on and scored. I'd like to see him back as a first 11 again, as part of the first 11 again. But he did well to take his goal.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far.
All right, okay. For now, he's a sub, but it was great to see that smile on his face. It was great to see him score again. Who else was a sub? Bellerin. He did all right. Bellerin again. Super sub. I'd like to see him back to the Bellerin of old. That's it, really. I think those are the only three subs. But yeah, I thought they were pretty good subs. But at least with Lacazette, I'd love to see him back in the 11. But right now, he's got to fight for his place. because he hasn't been playing well, and there must be contributing factors behind that.
What I find funny is that the only player we've talked about in this entire 2+ hours on the Wolves team was Traore.
No, I brought up Jimenez.
Adamo was a beast.
Jimenez is one of the best strikers in the league.
We didn't mention him into the danger. He's a danger player, but he was non-existent yesterday.
Yeah, he was shut
We
down.
mentioned Traore over and over and over again, even though Traore had a difficult second half. It's almost like the rest of players didn't show up for the game.
Well, and and that's not true. We know that they're battling for a Champions League place. The beauty of our win yesterday is we shut Jimenez down. One of the best strikers in the Premiership. We shut him down. We shut the guy down.
We didn't shut just Jimenez down, though.
We shut the whole thing. One shot on target.
You know, listen, you can talk about Jota. You can talk about, all the players that they've got. They're not a one-trick pony. They're not a one-man team. Yep. Yes, we appreciate that. You know what? Traore is special, but he's not special on his own. They have a very good set of players. And we shut them down left, right, and centre. So, you know what? Good job.
Bring on Leicester. Right.
We should be shutting teams like that down. I think we show some of these teams way too much respect. We got some great players, and Wolves should never be a threat for us. For some of the players that we got, we should never be scared or, oh my gosh, even to think that they would beat us. We should be a top 4 team easy. Should be.
Yeah. So, but that's it from us, guys. Where's that coming from? I'm not sure where that's coming from. Bertram, where can we find you?
101.
101 forums. Tony, where can we find you, bro?
At Pugilist Boy on the gram, on Twitter, on Facebook.
Excellent. Spitfire, where can we find you, bro?
You can find me in the Goon Squad on WhatsApp. Number will be in here, and on Instagram, Mugshots Photography. That's where you can find me most days.
Brilliant. Ebony, where can we find you, honey?
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, 101.
Excellent. And that's it,
and
guys.
And this lovely podcast.
And that's it, guys. Appreciate the love, guys. Thanks for the donations. And yes, Kuke, I did receive the £25. Thank you very much for that. And listen, much appreciated. Pure love going out to all of you guys. We're going to be back Wednesday night with the Leicester game player ratings as well. So we'll see you all then. Keep it real.
Wednesday? It's on Tuesday.
I know. But Wednesday's my normal slot. So I don't know. If we win, like it's like last night. Last night I was thinking, shall I do something for the? But then I thought, nah, let me let it blow over. And look, I might move it to Tuesday. I don't know. I mean, let me see. I've been working 6 months straight, and I haven't had a holiday. As you guys know, I'm still working in the day, like Bertram and Tony in the lockdown. So I'm actually gonna be off next week for 2.5 weeks. So I get a break. I go on holiday. So I'll be able to do a lot more things that I like to do. Haven't really been doing much videos. I know I've been doing Stargirl videos, but I've got a ton of DC movie stuff to do DC fandom, some Marvel videos, some PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X videos. I am lagging behind on my other channel, and I just don't have the time. That's why. So I'm looking forward to taking a nice long break. But I want to thank you guys. I appreciate all the love, man. It's hard work doing all of this, but it makes it much easier because you guys are just making the content enjoyable.
So, Paul, before you go, is that a vacation or a staycation?
Both. It's both. Yeah, I'm going away. I'm going away for a week, and on the other week, I'm just shutting off at home. And on 2 days, my daughter's coming home from university because she's finished her course there, so she's home for 2 months, and then she'll be gone for another year again. So it'd be great to have all my kids back in the house. So yeah, I'm going to be dad for a bit and then just not think about work for a while. I really need to switch off from work. This whole thing has just been such hard work, man. And as you know, I'm a PPE supplier, hygiene supplier to 500 companies, including football agents, etc. And it's been tough, man. I just need to shut off. I need to shut off. I need it to
whole week. You guys get 2 weeks vacation at once. Wow,
bro.
Awesome.
I'm off for 2.5 weeks. I'm off for 2.5 weeks. Yeah, and
that's a lifetime. That's a lifetime.
Yeah,
I've never taken 2 weeks vacation.
You've never. Hey, listen.
Not at the same time. Not simultaneously. No.
One day I'll tell you how much holiday I get per week. I'll do that on the one.
I should say over Christmas holidays, yes, but not during the regular year. No, not.
Yeah, I'm ready for you, Apollo. Yeah, I'm ready for you.
I'm ready for you, Tony.
Yeah,
I've got my
I'm
gloves.
ready for you.
Hey, listen, my Wing Chun gloves are right behind me, right there. My pads, my boxing pads are right there. I gotta get into it, man. I gotta catch up. All right, guys, listen. Speak to you guys later. Thanks. Appreciate the love, man. And right back at you.
Everyone.
Nice one.
Take it easy, guys.
Much love.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.